My husband's dash cam recorded him crying every night, but acts normal in front of me.
That's so sad.
Been together 3 years, married for 1. Last week, I, 35 female, used his 26 male car, and a herd of deer ran across the road in front of me. I couldn't believe it. I've never ever seen a wild deer before, and then all of a sudden there's 15 to 20 of them running out in front of my car? By the way, this comes from Throwaway Dashcam, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. NOP says, a couple of days later, I took the SD card out of the dash cam and connected it to my laptop so I could download the video. His camera isn't formatted properly, so the dates are out. I didn't know this, and I clicked on the date I was in the car and the approximate time. The dash cam saves the videos in 20-second increments, and I clicked on one and it just showed the road, but the audio was him crying, like full of crying. It instantly upset me to hear this, and I thought I was going to cry. Then I clicked on another, and it was the same again, but these times, he just kept saying, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." I've never heard him sound so sad and pained, and I started bawling my eyes out too. It wasn't just this one day either, it was numerous days. It seems nearly every time he's in the car alone, he's crying his eyes out and full on crying too. Howling, and he keeps repeating, "Oh God," or "No, no, no." It's genuinely terrified me. He comes home and acts like nothing's wrong. If I hadn't watched these, I never would have known. That night, once we had eaten and all the jobs were done, I sat him down and told him what I'd heard. He wasn't angry or upset. He simply just said, "I don't want to talk about it." I tried to pry, and I told him I'm worried, and I said I've never heard him or anyone else in my whole life sound so sad. I'm scared he's going through something that he's not telling me. I asked if there's anything I can do to help him, if he doesn't want to talk. He said no. I've checked all our accounts, and they are fine, as is our credit score, just to see if he was spending money on substances or gambling or had debt I didn't know about. I've looked for drink or substances hidden, but there's nothing. I'm scared he's ill and he's not telling me. There's something going off, and I'm so scared for him. I've told him if he won't talk to me, will he go see a therapist? And he said he doesn't need it. How can I get through to him?
I would play just the recordings of him crying.
Yeah.
Just be like, you mean to tell me you don't want to talk about this?
Yeah, it's tough because I understand wanting to keep certain things to yourself or not being ready to talk about them, but I would want a little information. Partner is crying every day like this.
Especially when we've had a lot of therapists come in and talk about stigma of like not talking about their emotions or don't they.
I'd be worried.
Yeah, it's very worrisome. Like I would tell him like, I'm very worried about you.
Yeah. And maybe like even ask him, say, how would you feel if you heard me sobbing like this?
Some comments. Comment 1. Sounds like he has crippling depression and doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't want to make it your problem. As someone who also deals with that, I get the whole he doesn't want to talk about it, because to him, that means he's just being a burden and it's not your problem to deal with, etc., etc. Leave it be for now. The fact that he knows that you know could help. Just keep an eye out for other depression symptoms you may have missed and take it from there. Someone replies, burdens in partnerships should be carried equally. I hope you know that too. A good partner is there to support you and vice versa. Comment 2, wow, this is tricky. I would feel the same way as you. I think the best thing you can do is calmly tell him that you are worried about him and that you want to be there for him, but I wouldn't bring it up in a pushy or demanding way. That likely will have the opposite effect. Maybe say something like, I completely respect that you are not ready to talk to me about what I heard in the dashcam video, and I won't push, but I hope you will come to me when you are ready, because I want to be there for you. Then I think you can just make sure you are spending time together and connecting so he knows that you are there. You could be surprised that he may randomly share. Try not to react with judgment or strong emotions and just listen and be supportive. I hope he opens up and shares because that's a lot to carry something that heavy alone. Opie says, that's pretty much what I said to him. I'm not going to push him or give him ultimatums like some on here have said. I'm worried about him and for him. I agree whatever he is carrying is heavy. Comment 3 says regret. And the update's like a week later.
Oh, man. Okay, well, maybe we got more information.
Yeah, I feel like there's a good chance that maybe just after the week of him thinking, he's at least maybe started to open up.
I hope so. Like, yeah, if he's not willing to, like, say it, it might be that.
Just a quick address of a couple things. A lot of people mentioned the age gap. Someone even accused me of grooming.
What is
LOL.
the age gap?
I think we got the ages.
Is it in the title?
35 female, husband is 26 male.
Okay, so early 20s, early 30s.
It's like a
Or-
larger age gap.
It's like 10 years, but that's not.
I feel like that's not.
He was still a
necessarily-
20-year-old when you guys started talking.
Yeah. Still like a little bit.
When we met, my husband lied and said he was 28. He's 6'2", bald and muscly, and has his own business and owns 3 houses. No, he could definitely pass as 28. He told me the truth because I was getting upset he wasn't introducing me to his family. Second thing is, people who said he's probably just unwinding after a day at work and I was being dramatic. It wasn't one day. It was multiple times a day he was doing this. Right. On to the update. In one of my comments, I mentioned he had started giving his stuff away, including his push bike, which he loved. I went to see the friend who he gave it to and asked if he said anything when he gave it to him. The friend looked confused and said, "No, I just paid him through PayPal and he left." Why? I told the friend my husband said he gave it to him, not that he sold it to him. And the friend said, "I think you need to speak to Aaron."
Very concerned this is a health thing. I'm very concerned this is a diagnosis.
But then I would be more thinking that he gave it to him, not that he sold it to him. But it could just be money. No, he sold it though. He did give it to him for money. I then rang another friend of my husband's who he gave his fishing gear to, and after a bit of coaxing, he admitted he too paid for the gear. And again, it was through PayPal.
Okay, now I'm thinking back financial. If he's selling items, then I'm thinking he's in massive amounts of debt.
But she checked that. So now I'm wondering if he's just had a side gambling thing that's only through PayPal.
It might be. Or a scam.
Yeah.
Also,
a lot of scams are through PayPal.
something, yeah.
I was getting paranoid now, and yesterday, December 5th, decided to talk to him. In my head, he was planning something with a secret stash of money, but I don't know what. Something to leave me if he unalives himself? A leaving fund? Gambling? Substances? I just asked him outright, "Why have you got a secret PayPal account, and have you told me you've given things away when you've been selling them?" He instantly broke down and said he was being blackmailed.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I asked what he had done, and he was being blackmailed for, and he said he had sent nudes to a woman he was chatting to from a Facebook page.
Freaking knew it. I called it so early.
I know he follows thirst accounts and pages on Facebook and Instagram, and it honestly doesn't bother me. This one was a page for older women, to those who claim he doesn't find me attractive because I'm old. Ha ha ha. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Still
you're in your
young.
30s.
And he showed me the most obviously fake photo ever, and then the conversation was her sending nudes and him responding, and the account then showing his friend list and me and his family members, and then his business page and all its followers and his other social media, etc. He paid her £250 to start with, but over the past few months, she kept coming back and asking for more. Altogether, he's paid her nearly $4,000. She's been messaging him a lot, nearly every day, threatening him. I was angry, not at him messaging another woman. I don't consider spicy texting a woman you're never going to meet as cheating.
Wild. Absolutely wild. I very much disagree, but okay.
Okay, sure. If it's pre-thought out,
If
then
it was
sure,
pre-thought out
fine.
and you talked about it, I guess that's fine. Again, yeah.
I'm
I
sorry, but like, to be clear, you're not mad at him for texting a woman that is not you and sending spicy pics that you said were fake, but still. 2, sending money to this woman.
This is...
Because if you were okay with it and you had pre-talked about it, then he wouldn't have been able to be blackmailed. So obviously he knew it was wrong.
Well, this is also really weird because he didn't send anything. He only received the nudes and then responded a couple times and somehow thinks that could have gotten him like completely blackmailed from everything,
So
when it's like so easy to fake a message from somebody, and he could have just been like, "That's not real."
Your husband is dumb. You should divorce him for that.
I was angry he was stupid enough to fall for the obviously fake picture and profile, and then to send a pic that's easily identifiable. Okay, so he did send a pic.
Yeah, okay. I was not... Yeah, so you are bad at him. Good.
Yeah. I told him I'm not going to leave him, and I'll stay and support him, but he needs to face this head on. Refuse any more requests for money, report it to Facebook, and then we need to go to the police. I said if the account follows through with the threats, then it's just a problem we will have to face when it happens. He started panicking and saying no, but I said this isn't negotiable. He isn't sending the account any more money, and he shouldn't have done it in the first place. And by the way, it would be insane if you guys didn't go listen to more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Why are we staying with him?
Can we get this man in a course of internet safety immediately, please?
How did you not? I don't understand why you don't view that as cheating.
I just don't understand how he also is in his 20s 4 months ago and he's not catching a fake account on Facebook.
Yeah. And also, if your partner views something as cheating to the point where they like are, being blackmailed for it and they are sending money,
I'm wondering,
even if you don't view it as cheating,
I'm wondering if he didn't view it as cheating so much as because he had sent the business page and the full family page, if he was just more worried about reputation.
Maybe, yeah. And
but you should still be able to tell your wife at that point if you've mutually agreed it's not cheating.
Yeah.
I've hardly slept last night, and I'm posting this from the gym at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I keep changing from angry to feeling sorry for him to relief that he's fine. I know a lot of people are going to think I'm stupid for staying and not classing this as cheating, but I just don't. I love him and want to be there for him, and after some of the comments on my last post, my self-esteem is happy he is still into older women. LOL.
But that's the end of that story.
I found out my boyfriend betrayed me, so I made his mistresses expose each other.
Teamwork.
I, 28, have been in what I thought was a serious relationship for a year now with this man, 25. There has been loads of drama, disagreements, and he would leave his 4-year-old son with me on multiple occasions.
Oh!
I am childless, and I
man.
don't plan to have children, so I thought it would be ideal to be with a man who already has kids, so he will not want any with me. This comes from United States of Labia. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments down below. So OP says, his child and I don't speak the same language, and I'm essentially a stranger to this child, so it was quite frustrating babysitting him. Then, additionally, his child would wet the bed, refuse to eat, and generally misbehave when he leaves me with the child.
That is classic child behavior.
Again, I couldn't discipline the child properly due to a language barrier. This man, Paulo, would berate me for not immediately bonding with his child, everything I did wrong regarding his child, and etc. Paulo has not been a physical present father in his child's life from ages 0 to 4. So I told him, you're just projecting your self-doubt and frustrations onto me. Because if anyone should be bonding with this child and parenting him properly, it's you first, and then I follow your lead. He had the gall to tell me, you are not fit to be with a mother. And like that was supposed to hurt my feelings. I was thinking, duh, that's why I don't want to have kids. Then he asked me, where is your motherly instinct? In the moment, I couldn't manage to ask him, where is yours?
Where is yours?
Where is yours?
Because that comment alone threw me for a loop. Me. What motherly instincts? From where? I don't have kids. I don't want to birth kids.
Well, what about the motherly instincts from your mother? Can't
What
do
the
Spanish.
F, Paolo? You know I did not even grow up with my mother, so instincts from where? He did come back to me and apologize for having unreasonable expectations.
So sorry.
Then he confessed that he wanted me to be the child's mother, which is literally impossible. That boy already has a mother, and I also asked him, what is a mother to you exactly? A child has 2 parents, and you can't expect one parent to do all the child rearing. Little boys need their dads. After this specific argument, I noticed his behavior changed, or he has always been a peepee head. He would be really cold and mean to me. He would withhold spicy sleep and intimacy, ignore my calls and text messages, start unnecessary fake fights, say effed up crap about, like, I forgot spicy sleep with you is always amazing, and I forgot I actually missed you. What the frick? I asked him directly, what's wrong? Do you want to be with someone else? What is your problem? He would ignore or dismiss my concerns and give very empty reassurances. That's when I knew some effing crap was happening. I told myself to be patient, and eventually he'll get overconfident and slip up. I needed evidence, so there would be no way for him to manipulate me into thinking otherwise, like he has been doing. And so it happened. His phone broke, and for work, he always needs to be reachable. So he started using my old iPhone without asking me permission. When I tried to just ask him about the iPhone, he immediately got angry and said, "There you go again about your phone, blah, blah." My iPhone is registered to my iCloud, so I could see his whole call log. There were some very suspicious phone calls to the same woman every day. I thought that's not enough. Then I found a prescription for STD medication in his coat when I was doing laundry, and one of the call girls' name was on the prescription. I thought again, that's not enough.
You thought again that's not enough?
That's crazy.
Girl.
That's crazy.
Girl, we got full on proof in the pudding.
Yeah. So obviously it's my iPhone with my biometrics password. Therefore, post some very dissatisfying, some of his worst work, coitus. I knew he would pass out, so I began my scheme.
Girl, why are we scheming? Just say bye.
Just like,
We're not married.
yeah, exactly.
Just get out of there.
I waited for him to start snoring because that is when I knew he was in a deep sleep. Reached over for my old phone. I started going through text messages and social media. Some messages were deleted, of course, but I got the gist. It was all there. He was cheating on me with multiple women.
We're all shocked.
He and the STD call girl both got treated, so when was he going to tell me to get treated? What an a-hole.
Did you get treated after you found the STD medication?
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. I was furious, and then I thought up a plan. According to their conversation, STD girl seems to be irate and jealous because she had an inkling that he is a witch. Then there was a new girl, and it seemed they were saying "I love you" to each other, but they haven't had spicy sleep yet. Maybe she lives far away, maybe she doesn't give it up easy, who knows. So I thought I'll get a spoof text number. I text the STD girl with all the contact details of the new girl, and the text went something like this. "Hi, STD girl. You've been trying to reach Paolo, right? Text this new girl. Her number is XXXX. He's been with her this whole time while ignoring you." The next morning, Paolo's day was absolute chaos. He couldn't figure out who this spoof number was. STD girl called new girl, and now they were both giving him heck. He was anxious the spam number would text me next, since they are revealing all the witchcraft he has been up to. I pretended like I didn't know a thing. I also texted myself with a spoof number saying, "Hey, are you OP? Ask your man who STD girl is."
Oh, she's covering all of her bases.
Wow.
I don't know why, though. Why?
Yeah.
This isn't Ocean's 11.
Right.
We can just go.
You just leave. Just leave. Just get out of there. He suspected I was behind it, but I was a coy. And then I confronted him with tears, yelling, and the works. I told him after that the anonymous text message and the STD medication prescription, obviously he is cheating. He thinks that the STD girl did it. Last we spoke, he was furious with her for blowing up his schemes.
His schemes.
Just because she was bitter that she was a side chick, according to him. Meanwhile, I'm just chuckling at him spiraling. Yeah, I'm heartbroken. Obviously, this is the end of that fake butt relationship. But I'm not the one crying. We're all gonna be heartbroken. Womp womp, sucks to suck. P.S. No, they're not call girls as in spicy sleep workers. I'm just making a pun. And we do have an update for the additional tea. And I want to tell everyone we are like exactly halfway through this story.
Oh,
What?
dang.
Yeah, we
That
are like...
infuriates me, actually.
Spill that tea.
Woohoo! We have thoughts before we spill the tea. Anyone want to make a speech before we dump the tea into the river?
Yes. I'm frustrated at OP. You're telling me that we got a whole other half of this story when she could just leave Paolo?
Yeah. So, there is more. The more is just more context on the plan and how it played out. Okay, so maybe it's not further relationship going on after this whole scheme. It's just more detail about this scheme.
Oh, boy.
Let's do it. For my plan to work, I had a friend of mine that Paolo has never heard of help me. She asked me, "Okay, you'll spoof text STD girl, but how will he know that she called the new girl?" I confidently told my friend, "STD girl seems like a crash out and like she has feelings for this man." I also had a feeling she knew he was in a public relationship with me. So she will be the perfect person to set up. My friend had her doubts, but I told her, don't worry, have patience with me. The spoof text was sent to STD girl at night, so now we wait. And he did not come over to my place that night. In the morning, he came over, acting like a guilty kid that was caught doing something bad. He asked me, hey, did you receive any upsetting text messages last night? Me, no. Upsetting how?
You tell me?
Huh? How would I know if you're asking me about it? Like, did someone pass away or something?
I thought it was a text sent to everybody.
Who's everybody? What's going on?
We'll talk about it later.
That's
Well,
how
that
I
was
knew
French.
it was working. After that, in the call log, there was a bunch of incoming and outgoing calls to STD girl and new girl. Mwahaha! So, my friend helped me in this way. New girl called the spoof number, and my friend answered. She was asking, how did you get my number and send it to STD girl? Blah, blah, blah. My friend said, you must be sorely mistaken because I have no idea what you're talking about. Then, new girl, while speaking to my friend, asked her, can I call you back and connect STD girl for a 3-way call? My friend said, yes. And then blocked new girl, STD girl, and Paolo's cell phone numbers.
Why are we tormenting new girl and STD girl?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't
either.
seem like they freaking knew about you. Maybe
Yeah.
STD girl did, but new girl certainly didn't. So why are we tormenting them? You're kind of the a-hole, OP.
That's how I knew my plan went perfectly. Then he happened to find me on my lunch break. He asked, what exactly are you up to? Me, warming up my lunch.
Haha, very funny.
What's going on? You said we would talk about an upsetting text or something? He then explained some convoluted story about an anonymous number texting him. Then later it became an unknown number that texted his close friends. And this unknown number texted something about my name. Then he said the text said something along the lines of, stay away from my man. The spoof number belongs to an Ava, he said. Would you like to say that line?
OP, who is Ava?
I don't know. New girl called him while we were talking, so I said his name loudly, and he had to hang up the call. But before he hung up, I heard him say to her,
I don't know this number. I have never seen it before. I'm also trying to figure out who Ava is.
I told him
Okay.
he wasn't making any sense. He told me,
Listen. You must find out about something, and then you're going to hate me. I think my little secret is out. Don't worry, it's nothing that can hurt you.
I was seething, but I played it cool.
Listen, for the next 7 days. The next 7 days, I am going to avoid you. Today is the first day.
Why? I didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, you didn't do anything wrong, but it's for your own good. Because that text I'm talking about, it's eventually going to reach you.
What exactly is this text? Why don't you just show it to me?
It's for your own protection, but we can still call and text. I just want to come over to your place, and you can't come over to me. I'm going to give you space. I'm doing this for you.
What an effing liar! He kept my spare key to my apartment. The next morning, he jumped on my bed, and woke me up playfully, acting all giddy.
It's Christmas.
How the F can he do that after he just told me that we were gonna have space? Also, because I'm the only one that didn't blow up his phone last night, he probably thought the text hadn't reached me. When he saw I wasn't enthusiastic about him randomly popping up, he was about to run away on some...
You have bad vibes, so I'm just gonna go. See you later.
That pissed me off so much. So at first, I confronted him about the STD prescription. His attempts to triangulate and huff and puff and trying to stall didn't work. He went to the bathroom probably to delete all his texts because after he confesses, he would have had to hand over my iPhone. Then he confessed to cheating with the STD girl. I applied pressure on him to confess. Who else, Paolo? Who else have you been talking to and effing behind my back? He only answered,
I only had spicy sleep with STD girl once.
I kept pushing, and that's when he accused me of being the spoof number. So I conveniently showed him the text I also got from the spoof number.
Is this a soap opera?
It must be.
Is
so
this that
silly
telenovela?
It must.
It was like, Paolo, you've been cheating on me.
Yeah. He was dumbfounded and angrily whispered. Yeah.
So it was STD girl all along. Damn, she's crazy. Why did she do all of this to me? How did she get your number too?
I told him to look me in the eyes, and I said, you're a coward. Do you know that? Did you know you're a coward? He was near to tears, and he repeated,
Yes, I am a coward.
This is crazy. I told him he doesn't have to pretend to love me anymore. If he didn't want to be with me, he could have just broken up with me. And he said,
But I did want to be with you. Seems I lost sight of that. Can this be fixed?
Fixed? Fixed? You are the one who went to go F people behind my back. So tell me, Mr. Man of the Hour, man of the house with a massive ego, please tell me, what was your plan? You get caught and then what? I'm waiting. What's with the silence, Mr. Popular?
I'm sorry, Selena.
You're just sorry you got caught.
No. I'm not sorry I got caught. You know what? You got one over me. That was a real good one, OP.
He's just a worldly guy. He's just Paulo. He might have started in like
He's
some sort of
Spain and a little bit of
country,
French, a little bit of Italian, a
and
little bit
he's
of Transylvania.
been all over. I did not respond the exact same way he would ignore me when I brought up my concern. And by the way, I would never ignore you if you wanted to check out full episodes of more stories just like this one on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or whatever podcast app you prefer. Just go to OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to this story, but how we liking this show so
It
far?
started off and it was believable.
Yeah.
And it's gone down this rabbit hole, especially when we started getting dialogue.
Yeah.
And I just don't quite believe
I don't either.
that any of this happened. But it did start off really strong.
So maybe he has figured out that I was behind it all. Maybe he still suspects STD girl. But so what? I don't care. The damage has been done. Now he has to build up his Rolodex of victims to manipulate all over again. Boo effing who. After that, he walked me to work while I was on a work call. Then he tried to ask me something about the call I was on. I just ignored him. I haven't spoken to him since. I don't care to hear from him ever again. I have nothing to say, and some things don't need to be said aloud. He knows it's over. And that's the end of that story.
And that is the end.
That is the end.
Paolo.
Paolo and Selena.
I must admit, Spanish accents are not in my Rolodex of accents.
That's totally fine. Maybe someday it will be.
Yeah, I'm more of a European accent person.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah. My friend joked about me losing a large amount of money, so I left.
That's what friends are for.
For context, I've been friends with Matt 10 years, John for 8 years, and Lily for 7 years on and off. For clarification, Lily and I have had a rough relationship throughout the years, as of recently, since 2022, due to other issues. By the way, this comes from Mini-Min X Moo, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do down in the comments. I, female 24, recently had a birthday, which included 3 friends. Matt, 24 male, John, 24 male, and Lily, 23 female. It wasn't anything big. It was all 4 of us going into the city and shopping, which I enjoyed. In our friend group, I'm probably known as the sensitive one. I get upset easily and tend to act on my emotions in the moment, which I have been working on with my therapist. I've been very open with my friends about how it's going and what I've been doing. At first, everyone seemed supportive, though I've noticed Lily has been less and less responsive to our conversations in general. I at first assumed that this was okay. People have lives, things get busy, and she'll get back to me whenever she can. The day itself was fun in the beginning. Nothing seemed off. We were shopping and chatting, and things felt fine. Around midday, though, as I was transferring money into my bank account, I noticed some of my money went missing. To clarify, I'm very cautious with my spending. I track what I spend to make sure that I don't overspend on things. I don't have a lot for my age, and all of my friends know that I'm cautious with money. I started checking my accounts and stressing because it wasn't a small amount. It was over $700. Everybody noticed that I was getting worked up and upset. Matt suggested that we stop inside my bank branch to sort the issue out since there was one down the street. I agreed since I didn't want to continue while actively noticing money was missing, and I assumed that my account might have been hacked or something. John said that it was fine, but Lily was annoyed since we hadn't finished our shopping yet. She sat down on the bench with John. At first, I didn't hear her or what she was saying because I was too worried over my account. Though, as I was looking for directions to the bank, she piped up about her and John's account. "Oh, look, John, we might have been hacked too. See, our money for the day is missing too." She laughed, but nobody else did. It was clearly not funny, and we all stood in the silence. All I said was that the poor joke was distasteful, and nobody found it funny but her. Lily snapped, saying that I was ruining the day by stressing everybody out about money when she and John had traveled to see me. I told her I appreciated the travel to see me, but this was something that I couldn't skip over since I'd already seen it. So I left for the bank and ignored her. After I finished, I found Matt waiting for me to inform me that Lily and John went home. In the morning, I found a bunch of missed texts from Lily saying that I ruined the day and that I was being overly sensitive about a clear joke that she made and too emotional for reacting the way that I did. I didn't snap or yell at her. I left the situation since my worry was my account, but she won't listen to my reasoning. So am I the a-hole and there is an edit? Sorry, forgot to add, yes, I lost my money. I've been at the bank for the past few days now waiting to see what they can do to help me. It happened on a busy day, so the bank hours were shorter than normal. They explained it like sometimes when you shop online, some companies will sell your information. I'm not sure how true it is, but I'm dealing with the situation at hand. I will update in the next couple of days with any information that I get. And there is an update.
Oh, boy.
But do you think that OP's the a-hole?
No, not at all.
No.
I think that's the most logical and reasonable way to react.
Yeah.
You lost, even if it was like $50, I would be like,
Right.
yo, I lost $50. That's annoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's her birthday too. It's like,
That's right. It's her birthday.
yeah, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. Did you never hear that song? I mean, come on.
I think Lily is like the class clown, or you know,
Tries to be.
tries to be, or
Yeah.
she is a pick-me girl,
Yeah.
and she tried to make a joke that obviously wasn't. That was just poorly timed and just not a good joke.
Right.
Nobody laughed, and she got
Right.
really pouting, like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
how dare, like, I was just trying to be funny and no one's laughing at me. Everyone sucks.
About the main issue, I've frozen and locked my account and card, connecting to each other at the bank with some help from the employee. She explained the process of getting a new card and suggested that it might be better to make a completely new account, which I agreed to do because I'd rather be safe with it. Before closing the account, I was able to transfer over my remaining funds and take some cash out since the worker mentioned it might take a week or two for the new card to arrive. About getting the stolen money back, she was very kind in explaining the process on what to do, and thankfully she had helped me with the process a little bit. Since this has never happened to me before, she put it in the system as a fraudulent transaction, and I'm still in the process of getting the money back. She stated it won't take too long, maybe a few weeks. I'm still keeping all the info we've gathered until it's resolved. I've also made a report to the Government Fraud Buster website as another safety precaution. I wanted to add this because some people were curious, and I will only give small details. Regarding my therapist in therapy, it's more about regulating suppressed feelings and emotions. As a teen, I wasn't exactly allowed to talk about feelings and emotions besides just being happy. I didn't have a proper support system emotionally to express any negative feelings like sadness or anger. As my therapist has put it, you seem to let people walk on you like a doormat, and you seem like a people pleaser. And I've accepted both statements as true. She is helping me express feelings properly without trying to feel guilty about them. The situation wasn't me getting mad and screaming or shouting. It was me trying to say my feelings and speak my mind in hopes that people will respect that.
OP watched Inside Out, was like, wait, there's more than joy?
Right. It's okay to feel these other emotions.
There's sadness and
No way.
anger?
Yeah.
I can feel those? I'm allowed to feel
That's
those?
wild.
That's wow.
A couple of months ago, I told the group beforehand that I'm trying to regulate my emotions a lot more than I normally would, which would not be saying anything. And I feel like after the shift in trying to speak my mind more often and express my feelings more than usual, it might seem as if I'm being more sensitive or oversensitive since they haven't seen this before. To the comments about just leaving Lily and closing the friendship, I wish it was that simple. She's been married to John for 3 years, so we're all very close at this point. I don't have many friends besides our small group, and it seems harder to make friends now as an adult. I've been to all their celebrations, their wedding, parties, hangouts, etc. I feel like we're a family. Emotionally, it feels harder to let go and walk away. Each argument or fight we've had over the years always did end up resolving itself, though on my end, I would always apologize. We haven't spoken since this incident, so I'm not sure where we are exactly on understanding each other. After the incident, I sent a final message to Lily very calmly, explaining how hurtful the comment was in a situation that was clearly stressing me out and was not needed. I've been left unread and still haven't gotten a word back. Someone asks, do you think Lily had taken the money? OP says, no, I don't. She doesn't have access to any of my banking details. She's never used my card, and I genuinely don't believe that she would do something that cruel. I truly believe that she had nothing to do with it, and I was unfortunately just caught in a scam. Someone else asks, why aren't you mad at John for leaving as well? OP says, I'm not mad at John because he didn't make the comment. Each time Lily and I would fight, she would always have a comment to add, which I would feel bad about on my end. John isn't the type to instigate or start drama. He's normally very chill, and we've always gotten along. I've never had any issues with John. By the way, I would not have an issue if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to this story. But yeah, that just
It's
is
icky.
an icky situation.
Yeah.
This might be just like a wake-up call for OP. Like, maybe don't take it as like, okay, I need to end this friendship, but maybe just a wake-up call of like how you go about it and the dynamic that
It's
you
again the
contribute
people
to.
pleasing.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is a perfect example or perfect time for you, OP, to, you know what? I know it's very uncomfortable, especially for someone who's been used to this their entire life, but this
Yeah.
is you to like stand up for yourself, or like, you know what? I am not okay with this,
Right.
and this is not a resolution.
Right.
I want to figure this out where, you know, I get a say, and think, you know, Lily, that's not cool kind of thing. Or like,
Yeah.
hey, everybody, this is how I feel. I don't care what you think. Come on, let's be adults here.
Right. Yeah, I think you handled it well, because the way I would think to go about this is to just kind of like assess like the way that you go about things like this when it
Yeah.
comes up. Like maybe in those fights, whatever happens in those fights, like I'm sure there's a way that you can act differently and that you can stop yourself from apologizing. And I'm glad that in this situation you reacted how you would, and you didn't snap at her or anything like that, and you also didn't like
Right.
let it happen. And you weren't just like, "Oh yeah, it's just a joke, you're right." Since John and Lily traveled together, I didn't want her taking public transport alone later in the afternoon or night. The area we were in at the time isn't always the best place to be alone, especially traveling alone as a woman. Plus, I wouldn't want them leaving at separate times anyway. I'm not sure if I have any other updates to come, but I sincerely appreciate all the nice comments and getting an opinion that wasn't biased in the situation. It has helped me figure out what type of people I should have in my life and what I need from friends in the sense of not having one-sided friendships. And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. Whenever I hear the "I was just joking" excuse, the first thing that comes to my mind is to ask the person what part of that was supposed to be funny. If I find out that I'm $700 short, I'm stopping on the train to figure out what the F is going on. And if I found out that a friend had that problem, I'm too concerned to make jokes and suggest that she wait a day or so to figure it out. Sounds like Lily isn't your friend anymore, and that's okay for both of you. Someone else responds, until I read the edit, I was honestly going to say that maybe Lily is the one who robbed her for the $700. She sounds like the type, honestly. I'm glad OP is on the verge of figuring it out, though. That's crazy. Lily is not your friend, OP. Cut her out of your life. I know the word toxic gets thrown around on here a lot, but I think that it's appropriate in this case. She sounds very selfish and spoiled with no concern for anyone but herself. And that's the end of that story. I think that makes a great
Those
point.
comments, great.
My stepdaughter wanted to move in, but I said no.
Why can't she move in?
I've been married to my husband for 6 years. We have 2 kids together, aged 8 and 4. Our youngest is special needs. My husband also has a daughter, age 12, from his previous relationship. His ex has had primary custody. My husband gets stepdaughter on weekends and alternating holidays and birthdays. By the way, this comes from Unhappy Voice 3978, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, this past weekend, my stepdaughter asked my husband if she could come live with him full time. Her mom recently moved in with her fiancé and his kids, and there has been some friction. Nothing nefarious, just a new house, new rules, and having to share a bedroom. My husband didn't give her an answer either way. He said he would look into it. When he and I were discussing it, I had the following objections. Stepdaughter and our kids do not get along. It's something we have worked on for years, in and out of therapy, and it just isn't happening. Stepdaughter resents mine for existing and is harsh towards my youngest for their disabilities. There have been issues with her bullying. My oldest is very protective of his little brother and hates stepdaughter for being mean to him. We really don't have room. We have a 4-bedroom home. Both my husband and I work from home so we can be caretakers for my youngest. Due to the nature of his disabilities, it is not feasible for him and my oldest to share a room. It wouldn't be safe or fair for my oldest. My stepdaughter's room is used as my work from home office space during the week. I arrange my vacation time around her visitation so I can stay out of her space. I have to take very sensitive phone calls and I need a closed door when I work so common areas are out. My husband uses our bedroom as his home office. We don't currently have room in the budget to make an addition to the house or remodel. Why can't your husband use common space? Does he have the same things?
I feel like he's just like, I'm just using the room to just be out of the way.
No, yeah, but I'm wondering why, because OP says I can't do common space because I have sensitive phone calls.
I think husband probably can do common space.
Yeah,
he's
that's
just choosing to do it in the room.
Exactly. So I'm saying,
But
why don't we have this, the daughter's room as her room full time. Mom or OP takes
in their
bedroom, and then husband takes common space. I'm just wondering, and maybe that doesn't work, but I'm wondering why. My husband hears my objections and understands them, but he wants to go for it and figures that everything will eventually work out. He doesn't want his daughter to think he is abandoning her. Does saying no to this put me in evil stepmom territory? I understand why you want to say no. I
Yeah.
don't think you should.
I am slightly torn. I also agree that you should maybe try it again. The only hesitation that I have is how the disabilities of her youngest and how bad was the bullying.
Yes, agreed.
What are the possible issues? Because you said that he can't stay with anybody. Is there increased change to his schedule that could make that really bad? What are that is my only thing is how would it affect the youngest with the disability?
Which I think that both of the parents are kind of in the wrong here. I think the dad's idea of it'll just work out is wrong.
Right.
We need a plan. We need how are we going to get our kids to get along?
For sure.
Edit. My husband and stepdaughter's mom were never married. They were friends with benefits who bartended together. Wow. When stepdaughter's mom found out she was pregnant, she told my husband she was keeping it and asked if he wanted to be in the baby's life. They never lived together except for a few weeks during the newborn stage. I had my first before I married my husband. My husband and I were in a long-term relationship when I had a birth control malfunction. We both decided we wanted to raise the child. A few days later, my husband proposed. We didn't get married until my oldest was 2. Edit 2, I'm not welcomed to be a part of stepdaughter's therapy journey, mostly per Biomom's wishes. My husband has always been worried about rocking the boat with Biomom. I do not know the extent of what therapeutic treatment she has had. I do know she goes to therapy during the week, and my husband has gone to sessions, but it isn't something he is free to discuss with me. And there is an update. Let's dive right in.
Yeah.
Last week, my husband and I sat down together and talked about stepdaughter coming to live with us full time and how that would work out. It was a difficult discussion because I really pushed hard for him to think things through and figure out the obstacles. Where would he and I work? Common areas are out due to the nature of our job, so it seems like they both can't do common areas.
What do y'all do for work?
I don't know. I can't use them due to employer restrictions. He does some NSFW things we don't want the kids to see. How we're going to handle the animosity between the kids. Also, maybe we talk to 12-year-old and say hey, you can live here, but these are the conditions. She's 12 years old. She's old enough to understand at least, baseline that if you don't follow these rules, you can't live here. What consequences would be in place? We talked about what expectations would be for stepdaughter living here full time versus just weekends. About how she probably has unrealistic expectations about what life here is like. We talked through every possibility we could come up with, including selling our home or separating our household and living apart for a while. Wow.
We ran numbers to see how it may affect our finances. Ultimately, we agreed that the answer was not yet, with a goal for our family to work towards it. I think that's fair.
And I think the fact that they like really tried
Yes.
to work that out too. I was wondering maybe
I
if
think
there's
tell her
some
that.
way, to get it. Could you like reverse, like they still go to Mother's on the weekend and
Yeah.
every other major holiday?
That's a good idea.
Would that help with some of the like, because you'd be
Logistics.
more in the home on the weekends kind of thing?
Yeah. The
Either
best-
either way, you're not yet. You looked into it, so I
You
like
looked
that.
into it. The time where I was like a little not on your side when you were just being like no.
Yeah.
But it seems like you really went through it, and when I think that's fair. The best course of action would be to slowly adjust the amount of time she spends in our home versus a sudden custody switch. I think that's a great idea.
I think that's also great just as a transition for
Yes.
the child.
I agree. Friday night, my husband took stepdaughter out to talk to her about everything. He explained that she wouldn't have her own room at our place for a couple of years, but that it was on the top of the list for home improvements once our youngest's handicap accessibility renovations are paid off. He talked to her about expectations. She would have chores and responsibilities. Most importantly, they talked about the bullying and laid down the provision that we needed to see her relationship and attitude towards her brothers improve before she could live here full time. I think this is great.
Yeah.
Stepdaughter obviously wasn't thrilled, but she said okay, and that she would do better with her brothers. Saturday, I made arrangements for my parents to watch our sons, and we invited stepdaughter's mom over so we could all sit down and figure out how stepdaughter can start to spend more time here. That is when it fell apart. Mom is not okay with the change in custody at all. Absolutely not was her answer. Ooh.
Ooh, so
This is-
we didn't talk to with mom
Oh.
about this one,
Ooh. I thought the mom was like, you go over there.
I hadn't gotten the impression of like no get out. I thought maybe she still knew though.
She took stepdaughter home early Saturday. My husband tried to reach out to stepdaughter on Sunday to see how she was and ask if she wanted to do their guitar lesson over Skype since her mom took her home early, but she never responded. He called stepdaughter's mom and she informed him that stepdaughter had lost her phone privileges. So she can't call her father? We don't really know what's going on with that. My husband has a daughter that predates our relationship, and we also have 2 children of our own, one of whom is severely disabled. He and his daughter's bio mom never had a formal custody arrangement, but due to some recent trauma, it became apparent we needed something formal and court-ordered in place. I agree. I was about
I was
about to
assuming
say
they had something,
Yeah.
but this is a good idea.
I was about to say, I was like, if you guys don't have it, you need
get it. Yeah.
We consulted an attorney. While on that course, we discovered that my husband wasn't listed on the birth certificate. Y'all are just finding this out 12 years later?
Oh yikes.
We had paternity testing done. My husband is absolutely devastated. He's spiraling and hurting badly, and I can't do anything to take his pain away. We've hugged and cried together so many times this week. Wait. Did the paternity, what did the paternity testing say? I'm like, why are you having this reaction just because you're finding out that you're not on the birth certificate?
Which is a big thing to get custody.
Okay. I need to know. He's not okay. He's flip-flopping between despair and anger. The anger scares me. His knuckles are messed up from punching something.
Oh.
He wouldn't talk to me about what happened. Everything's falling apart at home. My husband is in no place to be a father or partner right now. I sent our oldest to my sisters, but my youngest is having a really bad week with his medical issues. I think he picks up on the stress and mood of the house. We had to go to the ER last night due to increased seizure activity. Oh my goodness.
No.
Poor OP.
Yeah.
Oh. When I came home, my husband was wasted. He became belligerent and demanded I have our sons tested too, which makes me think that his daughter is not his.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
then
so
going after the
devastating.
sons though, dude.
Yeah.
Belligerent like that.
Come on.
Not cool.
No, I mean, I clearly this guy is, having kind of a complete breakdown, which is in many ways very fair because you just found out after you have a friends with benefits situation who comes to you and says, do you want to be a part of your child's life? This is your kid. And he makes that decision to do that, finds out that this is why you got to have those court ordered custody agreements. Because, I mean, they would be like, hey, you're not on the birth certificate. Hey, this kid is not yours. Probably would have found that out. I mean, but probably he was young. But regardless of all this, still
I
should
wonder
not
if
be.
this was a shock to the mom too, that it wasn't his.
Maybe. He didn't even ask how our son was doing. I was so pissed off, but held my tongue and walked out of the room. I left a few Gatorades and some aspirin next to him after he passed out. I'm trying to get him to see a therapist, but no dice so far. We haven't told stepdaughter or biomom yet. We've already skipped one of our regularly scheduled visitations with stepdaughter, and another is coming up soon. I think he really needs to go to a therapist.
Really?
Because at the end of the day, this is his daughter now.
Yeah.
He's raised her for 12 years.
Yeah. Just the fact that it's not your DNA and you're not on the birth certificate does not change that you haven't been this child's father
for 12 years. I just don't know what to do. I'm so afraid right now. I don't know how much longer I can hold things together. And there is a third update, but I think right away, I think it's, I don't know, like, I think you do have to talk to the stepmom, but I would worry that she would take away any custody.
Personally, I don't think mom of the 12-year-old knows that it's
No,
not.
I agree. I don't think she knows, but I'm saying, like,
You think that she would take custody of
yeah,
him?
if she found out.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Definitely get this man therapy.
Yes. Update 3. Some things are better and others are a heck of a lot worse. Not long after I posted, my husband and I had the biggest full-blown drawn-out fight of our entire relationship. I honestly cannot even tell you how it started. It was one of those little things that just triggered all the stress, anger, resentment, and other negative emotions we have been feeling, which were completely taken out on one another. I took the kids and left afterwards. I refused to come home until my husband got his head out of his butt and talked to someone about all of this. The silver lining was it did spur my husband on to start dealing with everything. He has been to his doctor and has been prescribed medication, and he has been looking for a therapist. He did a session with one, but didn't particularly click with them. He's going to pursue others as our finances allow. My husband and I discussed his drunken demand for paternity testing. I was able to express how hurtful that was to me. He apologized fully and has decided he does not need to have our sons tested right now. We have discussed options for what we'll do if doubt continues to linger, but as of now, no testing is being done. We are both trying our best to show each other grace on the matter. The heck of a lot worse part is what is going on with stepdaughter. My husband had to take a few weeks without visitation to get his own emotions under control. Then we had our typical weekend visit. We did not tell stepdaughter or biomom about the test results yet, as we were still considering our options. You have an option to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Honestly, my biggest thing right now is the withholding the information from biomom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not completely sure where I feel on that matter because I feel like she should get to know.
I agree.
But I do understand your side of
will
she
we lose
could
custody? That's
take
what I'm
custody
thinking.
away,
Yeah.
but somehow it still feels icky to me to not
I
tell
think
her this information.
Yeah, I think it feels icky, but I understand. They probably want to see is there any way we can have custody of this, of our daughter?
Yeah. I also just feel bad because now stepdaughter presumably doesn't know the reason that her dad hasn't talked to her and wanted to see her for 2 weeks.
And they just had the conversation about, whether or not she's moving in. She found out she's not. And then right after that,
you have 3 weeks of silence.
Yeah.
It's kind of
that would be really
hard for her.
But there is a little bit left. My husband ultimately decided that he still wanted a relationship with his daughter and still wanted to pursue legal custody. The attorney we consulted suggested that with our state laws and the established parental relationship, we should have a claim and could likely get court-ordered partial custody, but it would be a more complicated legal case. My husband, in a very boneheaded move, did not play his cards close enough to his chest with biomom. Several weeks ago, they had a verbal altercation. We have not been able to get in contact with biomom, her fiancé, or stepdaughter since we contacted the police, who told us this is a civil matter and we need to go through the courts. Sorry, I wish I had a happier update. And OP also says, I'm okay doing paternity tests, but only if he will do couples counseling. I will pass away on that hill. As of right now, husband has said he doesn't feel the need for us to do a paternity test now that he's come down a bit emotionally. And since we have a lot of other financial obligations on priority list ahead of paternity testing, it's way on the back burner. He is currently looking for an individual therapist. He had a session with one, but didn't click with them. He'll be looking for another after we catch up financially from paying the attorney and court filings. And that is the end of that story.
My sisters are not excited for my wedding, even though I was supportive of theirs.
Aw, not fair.
Not very fair. I, 37 female, have been with my fiancé for 12 years. We've been engaged for 7 of those years and recently decided to finally tie the knot. By the way, this comes from a user. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And
I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We just know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do down in the comments. And OP says, I'm writing this 2 weeks before my wedding. It was a bit rushed. I got tired of waiting and decided I wanted to do it as soon as possible. I want a small, intimate ceremony at home with just his mother and brother, my parents, my siblings, one close cousin, and my best friend. We chose the wedding date 6 weeks before the actual day. Because it's a small affair, I thought that would be enough time to plan. This is where my sisters come in. After I secured the date with the wedding officer, I messaged my best friend and my sister, 34 female, let's call her Sammy, and asked them to be my witnesses for my fiancé and me. Sammy congratulated me and seemed sincere and happy for me. Then I announced it in our family group chat with my mom, Sammy, and my youngest sister, 27 female, Brandy. My mom congratulated me and expressed how happy she was. Brandy, on the other hand, reacted with just a white heart emoji. Well, at least it's a white heart. It's thematic.
Yeah, what? I feel like
White heart emoji.
at least it's not like a mad face or, like, ew. Something like it could have been way worse. Like she just responded with a heart emoji. I feel like that's still
She
very
could have
supportive.
responded with, how dare you?
Right? It could have been like much worse.
That would have been a whole other can of worms.
I guess because she didn't say like, oh, congrats, or like, oh my god, so
Congrats.
happy for you or something. And like it didn't have like a message behind it.
Yeah, white heart. Some background about my relationship. We've been together for 12 years. We got engaged 5 years in and have been engaged for 7 years now. We moved in together shortly after the engagement. Throughout those years, I dealt with a lot of side comments about still not being married, especially since both my sisters are married and I'm the oldest. My mom even once joked that I was on layaway. This definitely contributed to me deciding to just get it done, even though we never needed a piece of paper to validate our relationship. This is the first big thing to happen in my life since the birth of my son 14 years ago. And here's why I'm hurt. When Sammy got engaged, I was over the moon for her. I basically appointed myself her maid of honor because I knew if I didn't step in, she'd still be engaged today. Funny, considering how long I ended up being engaged. I booked her venue. I went dress shopping with her. I handled the food and decor. I helped with everything because I genuinely wanted her day to be special. I planned her bachelorette. My friend and I paid for her themed bachelorette outfits, mine, hers, and the decorations, all out of our pockets. On her wedding day, I made sure everything ran smoothly and even researched wedding games to make the reception fun. Later, when she got pregnant, I planned her baby shower with Brandy. I wasn't working at the time, so I couldn't contribute much financially, but I designed all the games on Canva, decorated the venue, and did everything I could to make it special. For Brandy, I couldn't do much for her wedding because she had a Muslim ceremony and I didn't really know the customs, but for her baby shower, which was 5 years before Sammy's, I was working then and helped the same way with planning, decorations, and games. Sammy and I even split the cost of her gender reveal cake and decor. I have always shown up for my sisters and made sure their big moments were celebrated. I never did any of this because I expected anything in return. I'm not listing these things to say they owe me. I just want to explain that I genuinely put in effort to make their important days special. Now, here we are. It's 2 weeks before my wedding, 4 weeks since I told them, and not one of them is called to discuss details, asked if I have a dress or if I need help. I've been planning everything on my own. My friend is helping me, but mostly it's just me. Even my mother hasn't asked if I need anything. It really hurts because it feels like they don't care. My coworkers are more excited than my own family. My manager literally sings, I'm going to the chapel and I'm gonna get married every
That's
day.
not how it goes.
How does it go?
Going to the chapel and I'm gonna get married.
That's how it goes. She even planned a bridal shower for me next week. It honestly feels like the only thing my family is going to do is show up. So I don't know. Am I expecting too much from them? I only gave them 6 weeks to work with, and there is an update.
Yeah, that song's gonna be in my head. Thanks.
I think I should clear up a few things from my original post because I left out a lot of information while trying to keep it short. When I said I appointed myself as my sister's maid of honor, it's because we're genuinely very close. My sister doesn't really have friends outside of family. My best friend is the closest thing she has to a non-relative friend. So there weren't any bridesmaids simply because she didn't have anyone to ask. She made all the decisions for her wedding. All I ever tried to do was make sure she knew I was there to support her. She chose the venue. I was just the one who booked it because I had access to a phone at work. For all the events I helped plan, it was never about being controlling or taking over. That couldn't be farther from the truth. My sisters are not shy at all. If they didn't like something, they would have told me immediately. We're very close. We video call every weekend, and they've always spoken up when something has bothered them. As for my long engagement, it wasn't because I wanted a big wedding. Honestly, I wanted a court wedding and a small celebration after. But in South Africa, it isn't as easy as you'd think. We were sent away multiple times because Home Affairs was fully booked or the queues were too long. Add the vid and periods of unemployment on both sides, and life kept getting in the way. My cousin recently got married at home by a marriage officer, and I didn't even know that was an option. She gave me the contact, and the only available date he had was the one I chose. Now, why I'm upset? I was never expecting a big celebration or for anyone to throw me anything extravagant. My family knows I'm not that kind of person. What hurts is the lack of interest. We're extremely close, so I truly thought they would want to share in the excitement, even for something as small and overdue as this. I thought they'd want to know what I'm planning, what I'm wearing, or even just what time they should show up. I didn't want a bridal shower because I know it's short notice. I just didn't expect to be planning my wedding alone. And it's not like the festive season is a huge deal for us. We just have a simple lunch. My other sister is Muslim, so the Christmas rush doesn't really affect her anyway. A lot of people have said I'm the a-hole and my expectations are too high. But is it really too much to expect a check-in? Yeah, that's I don't think your expectations are too high that you just want them to be like enthusiastic and happy for you.
I think that I don't know, when it comes to like sisters and stuff, especially if you're like the older one, I feel like you do kind of get tossed to the side. I'm not the older one. but
she's seen it happen.
But I have. I feel like it's especially like depending on who you are as a person. My older sister is very type A, like likes things to be done this way and gets very upset if things are not done in the way that she wants and and things have to be, like this time, that time, whatever. Like everything's planned. So like if something doesn't go as planned, it's like the end of the freaking world. So I would understand if like they didn't want to get involved because of that maybe, but I don't know. I would have to get like more information, I guess.
So is it really too much to expect a check-in, a how's it going, or a what are you wearing, or even just a call to ask me what time things start? Maybe I am the a-hole for expecting the same level of interest I gave them, but no one can say I wasn't genuinely happy for my sisters. I'm just not sure they feel the same way for me. I think I should have changed my title. Instead of upset, I should have said disappointed. And there's a second update. Yeah, I think honestly, where all this is coming from is OP just wants her sisters to be like, yay! Oh my God, do you have a dress? What's the dates? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that?
This is such big sister energy too. It's like, well, I did everything for your guys' stuff. I did this and I did that. So like, why is no one doing it for me? Type of thing. I don't think she's saying it in that way. I don't even think she's
like that. No, she's more like, I did that thing and I did so many other things. Why does anybody want to do them for me?
Yeah, I think she's being more like that as well. I don't think.
And it's like you're 0 to 100 in 6 weeks. There's no time.
Yeah, and I feel like she
0 to 100 in 6 weeks during the holidays.
That's true.
People don't have time for that.
And if she wants help, you could just ask for it. Be like, hey guys, I need help for this. Like, what do you think? Or something. Or like, hey, let's have a sister day and can we talk about my wedding?
And then if they say no, then you can be a little more disappointed. You know?
I feel like you're kind of just like hoping that they reach out, but like they're not, and then you're getting mad.
So let's get into the second update. Posted in the comments and was downvoted. This will be my last update. A lot of people seem fixated on the fact that I've been engaged for 7 years, when that is not the issue here. My partner and I wanted to be financially stable before getting married. We didn't want to rush into it just because people judged the length of our engagements, like so many of you are doing now. What would be the point of getting married if we couldn't even afford a place together afterward? Just because my engagement was long or because I'm 37, it doesn't take away the importance of the day. And is it really so wrong to want to share that moment with my family? I'm happy, truly happy, to finally be marrying my partner, to finally be his wife, and to carry his last name. I had only 6 weeks to plan this ceremony, and yes, I am done calling it a wedding. I finished everything with 2 weeks to spare. My issue was never about wanting my sisters to plan anything. My issue was that they never once took the time to call and ask how things were going, or what I was planning for the day. I just wanted them to show some interest as my sisters. I didn't want them to plan it. I handled that myself. All I wanted was someone to bounce ideas off. Thankfully, my friends stepped up and showed the interest I expected from my family. Why couldn't they? By the way, you can always listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime, and you've got the entire archive ready to go at a moment's notice. And there is a little bit more story here. I think the key here, OP, baby girl, you had to tell him that how you were feeling.
It's just such big sister energy. Like, that's the thing. It's just they expect it. It's like, well, I did it for you.
They
I
should have
expect
known.
you to do it to me.
They
And,
should
you
have
know,
known.
And it's like everyone has their own lives. It's not that we're trying to be mean and not care about you and not put you first, you know, whatever, or not help you celebrate your big day. But like, if you need help, just ask for it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not even about the help. It's about the interest.
yeah.
And I got to say, well, being engaged for 7 years, well, it's like you're already married, honestly. At that
True.
point, you're married. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're making it official. Congrats. But it's not like it's like, oh, it's happening. It's like, it already happened at some point. You guys just, had a long engagement.
Yeah.
Brandy, my baby sister, got married Muslim within a month, and whoa, a month? That's crazy. And I was still there for her if she needed help with anything. Regarding the other events I planned for my sisters, I never took over. I did them because that's what family does. Planning their bachelorette parties and baby showers wasn't a burden. I was happy to do it, and they were happy I did. To everyone who suggested I talk to my sisters, thank you. I did speak to them. We cleared the air. They apologized and assured me that they are happy for me, and said that if I needed help, I should ask them. I explained that I didn't need help. I needed them involved in the decision-making, no matter how small the ceremony was. So all right, we're talking semantics here. They're saying if you needed help, let us know. And you're like, well, to be clear, I didn't need your help. I could have done this all by myself, but I wanted it. So you needed it. So you said something.
Right? That's how it is. I can't.
I still wanted certain things like photos at the beach, and I wanted them to be part of those moments. And that is the end of that story.
Oh, that's it.
Hey, you cleared the air. Good on you.
Moral of the story, just communicate what you want.
Truly, moral of the story is always clear the air. Clear it quick.
I changed one birthday plan for my son, and it shattered our bond.
How dare you change the birthday plans?
I, 47 male, have a son, 14 male, from a previous marriage to my late wife. She passed 2 years ago, and for my son, the wound is still very fresh. My son and her were very close, as they look exactly alike and had a lot of the same interest in reading, history, and art. By the way, this comes from Creepy Werewolf 4914, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Their favorite place in the world is the British Museum in London. Their passion project has been redrawing pieces from the museum for the last 2 years before. The last 4 years, for my wife's birthday in June and my son's birthday in December, we go to England for a week so they can spend time in the museum. However, since she passed away, my son and I have continued going for his birthday. The problem is with my new wife, 39 female. She's only been with us on this annual trip once last year, and she complained the whole time. Now, however, we recently found out we are expecting a child together in May. He raised it to my attention that the money I've used for the trip could be better used to be saved for the baby.
Don't you freaking dare.
We could instead do something else for my son's birthday. I thought about it and I agreed. I was worried how he'd take it, as this is the only thing he wants for his birthday. He didn't ask for gifts or cake or a party. All he cares about is this goddamn museum. We broke the news to my son yesterday and he flipped out. He was so upset, and when my wife tried to tell him why we were saving the money and where the money was going to, he said he didn't give a damn, and we got into an argument about it. He said he was upset because if he didn't go this year, he'd miss the new exhibit he'd been wanting to see, and he accused my wife of doing this on purpose because she already doesn't like me, he said. I admit I yelled at him and he started crying, and for the last 24 hours, he hasn't spoken to me. Am I the a-hole? Yes. Just so easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So much so. If these comments don't
Yeah.
absolutely wake you up and take this
Yeah.
kid to the museum, then I don't even
Take
know.
this freaking kid to the museum.
What 14-year-old boy wants to go to a museum for his birthday?
Yeah,
take
you have a
this boy.
special boy.
Take the boy.
Like, I don't know where you guys live, but yeah, okay, London trip, expensive maybe, but British Museum, free. OP clarifies on the timeline when his late wife passed and the trips the family took together. OP says, no, I'm sorry if I worded that confusingly. What I intended to say is that we took this trip twice a year when my wife was alive. So 4 years ago, we started taking these trips. 2 years ago, my wife passed away, and we took the trip once a year since. Since my wife passed away, we took the trip once a year. Commenter 2 says, what museum are you talking about? There are hundreds of, maybe even thousands of museums and art galleries in England. Oh, and you're the a-hole. Seriously, what the heck is wrong with you and your witch of a new wife? Opie says, the British Museum in London. www.britishmuseum.org. Commenter 3 says, you're the a-hole and so is your new wife. In fact, she's downright selfish. All she cares about is the baby that's coming. Neither she nor you are considering the child that is already here. One that is hurting deeply, first from the loss of his mother, and now from his father's stupidity. And yes, OP, you are beyond stupid. You are blind to the fact that your new wife is already putting her unborn child before your son, who you have an obligation towards right here and now, as he is your firstborn and shouldn't be shoved to the side for a baby that's not even born yet. So get your head out of your butt. Tell your wife that she needs to shut up and do what's right by your son. Because I can promise you that if you forgo this trip and ignore what's important to that poor child, the damage will be done. He will drop your sorry hide like a bad habit the moment he turns legal, and he'll never look back. Then you can spend the rest of your life whining about how he never wants anything to do with you. Comment 4 says your shiny new wife chose to act worse than a whiny toddler and ruined a trip that was meant for a child on their birthday as a memory for his mother. You allowed this woman to make your son feel terrible in his favorite place in the world on his birthday. You allowed this woman to take the one thing your child has ever wanted, to shift it over to something that has nothing to do with your son for his birthday. You yelled at your son for reacting badly to being shoved aside for your new family. You allow your new wife to mistreat your son, not even bothering to raise any questions at she hates me at all. Of course you're the a-hole. Update, November 26th, 2025, 1 year later.
Oh!
Are we at the museum again?
We better be at the museum for the second time. This better be his next birthday. We went last year, we're going this year.
Yeah. So a year ago, I, 48 male, made a post online about the issues I was having with my son, 15 male, and my new wife, 40 female. I've gotten many messages and comments asking what happened, so I decided to make an update. So the big thing first, did I take my son on his birthday trip? No. But let me explain. So after my son and I got into a fight, he went and complained to his uncle, my late wife's older brother, 47 male, and his husband, 47 male. I'll go ahead and say that since my late wife got sick, and even after she passed away, her brother and I never got along.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I
Maybe
wonder
because
why.
he thought you moved on really quick.
Is it because you pulled another woman out of thin air and had a baby with her?
He, his husband, and most of her family like to judge me for how quickly I remarried. I'm judging you too.
I'm judging you.
I am judging you too.
They better have taken this kid then. Maybe he can go live with them.
If you had just said, it's been 2 years or a year and a half and I've started to date again, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? They shouldn't be mad about that.
I even would have judged you less for it had you stood up for your son at all still.
You found a girl within the year, got remarried. I'm just assuming that you at least took a year, but presumably you found this girl within the year and then married her within the next year.
Judge your
I'm
son
judging
for not being over it yet.
Yeah. However, my son has kept a good relationship with them. And
Wonder
once he
why.
told them about what happened, they called and offered to take him themselves. I was all for it, but my wife was not.
Oh my god!
She thought if we let my son go with them, they'd fill his head with lies about her and only deepen the rift between us. Since the situation was causing her so much stress and she was pregnant at the time, I decided to decline their offer, which only made things worse. Eventually, after about 3 days, we finally sat down and talked. He said he was unhappy with the way she was treating him and often felt like she was trying to erase his mom's touch from the house. He felt like she was constantly criticizing him and didn't want him around. When I confronted my wife about this, she was offended. She said she wasn't trying to erase his mother, but simply add her own touch to the space. She wasn't criticizing him, simply parenting. Eventually, my son accepted that he wouldn't be able to go on his trip and was noticeably bummed out about it. So his boyfriend and his friends spent his birthday at our house trying to cheer him up. A sweet gesture, but I don't think it worked. Over the last year, my wife had our baby, and now that my son's birthday is approaching, he's become bitter and resentful over what happened last year. He spends more time away from home. He's been rude and disrespectful to his stepmother and been seeing his therapist more frequently. By the way, you can see us more frequently if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. It doesn't feel like OP learned anything.
I don't think OP learned a dang thing.
He was like, just like, hear me out, and then proceeds to say the most stupid thing.
And then immediately just go to your wife and believe your wife.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You listened to your wife when she said, well, your son can't go on the trip with his family because they're going to spread lies about me. Does that mean that he can't go spend time with them at all? Unsupervised?
I'm assuming he probably hasn't seen his uncles in forever because of the whole rift with the new stepmother.
Which is ridiculous.
You are tearing your entire family apart, OP. You suck.
Now that we've all adjusted to having a new baby and my son's birthday is approaching again, I'm thinking if I should resume the tradition of taking my son back to the museum. I think it would be a good idea to hopefully do some family bonding. And honestly, I'm feeling really guilty about what happened last year.
No, OP, you leave your wife and the baby at home. I don't even care about her. She can be with the baby. And you guys go to the museum. Just you two.
My wife has her reservations for saying it would only reward his bad behavior. He didn't have any bad behavior.
He didn't do anything wrong.
He asked for one thing for his birthday.
All he wanted was the museum.
And you refused even when you didn't even have to pay for it.
And
that's the thing.
The exhibit that he wanted is gone already.
It's gone. You didn't even have to pay for it. There is no excuse.
You didn't even have to go. You had two people willing to take him. And from the sounds of it, they live pretty dang close.
I guess I'm making this update to not only inform the people of Reddit, but also ask for a little advice. What should I do? I only want to be a better dad. Comment 1 says, update 3 years from now. Why doesn't my son talk to me anymore? Reply, I'm going to ask Reddit strangers for advice, not listen to any of it, and then ask for more when not following the original advice that made my situation worse. Where did I go wrong? Comment 2, this dumb guy. I hope he enjoys the next 3 years because once that kid is 18, he's going no contact. My God, I'm so upset that this idiot doesn't see how wrong it is to express, we're not going on the trip. And aren't you excited that it's to spend that money on my new child? Yeah, like your birthday money is going to the new kid.
The kid that wasn't even born at the time yet.
His wife is trash too. She didn't want him to go with his uncles because she's a controlling piece of crap. Fly says 2 years max. Son will be 16 this December. I hope his gunkles are there for him after he goes no contact with this irresponsible man. Reply, guarantee they're already planning on how to get him into college without OP's support. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure if he gets into a good college or something, he seems smart.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure wife will be like, oh, well,
we
that
just
money's for the
that.
baby.
Yeah. You can go to you can go to a community college.
The newborn, we actually need to start his college fund from your college fund.
Sorry.
My girlfriend said she was over her ex, but his wedding broke her.
Well, I guess she's not over him.
So I, 30 male, have been dating my girlfriend for about 4 months now. Everything was going great for us till she learned that her ex-boyfriend of 9 years was getting married. They had broken up in June last year, and we started dating July this year. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Sad Girlfriend, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we have tons in common, and we really enjoy each other's company. Anyways, last week, one of her old friends, who knew her ex, informed my girlfriend that he was getting married to his new girlfriend. My girlfriend was shocked, to say the least. And when her friend left, she went on Facebook and spent almost an hour looking through his profile. Okay, he was a longtime boyfriend, so she must have been curious. But ever since that day, she's been really sad and stressed. She keeps spending her time on Facebook, looking through everything about her ex and his bride-to-be. When I finally asked if he was the one who got away from her, she denied it. She said something along the lines of, I want to see what's special about her. She says she isn't pining for him, he didn't treat her well, and that even if he asked her, she wouldn't go back. In fact, he had reached out to her multiple times after breaking up, but she turned him down every time. So my question's this. If you don't love him still, then why be so sad about his marriage? Why keep obsessing over his bride-to-be? What am I missing here? We have some top comments. Blade982. He strung her along for 9 years and is marrying the girl he only recently met. That's probably where her sadness is coming from. Why wasn't she good enough to garner a commitment like marriage? What does this girl have that she doesn't? Not logical, but that's probably what's running through her mind. Spellscribe. Yeah, especially if it's a guy who tore down her self-esteem. Revolutionary Sir XWE. It was a huge part of her life for 9 years. It's understandable that she's grieving. Not that her ex so efficiently moved on. 9 years with someone means you likely expected to spend the rest of your life together. It doesn't mean she wants back, but 1 year after a whole decade of your life, along with all hopes and emotional investment that it took. What she's going through is understandable. Opie says, you might be right. I don't know the intricate details of their breakup, but she did say that they broke up because they couldn't agree on the future. And she has mentioned to me that she does want to be married and have kids. Putting these 2 points together, the situation might have been closer to what you describe. And to be honest, her ex did sound like a tool. He made 5 times her salary, but they always went 50-50 on all expenses. On our first date, I took her out to a fancy restaurant, which I also wanted to visit for a long time. We had a gala time, but the next day she called me and apologized, and then told me that she would only be able to pay her half of the meal in installments, as she didn't have that much cash at the moment. It took me a moment to understand she was talking about the dinner last night. I told her I invited her. It was my treat. Then she told me that her ex-boyfriend made her transfer her share after every outing they had, all throughout their relationship.
That's insane.
He makes 5 times more than her.
Again, I think it's I not necessarily like I kind of side with Opie's girlfriend, where it's like, dang, I went through a crappy 9-year relationship. This guy, some chick is marrying this guy within a year. Did something click for him? What does she see in him? Is he treating her the same? There's no it's a lot of what's going on? Like, why? Why is that happening?
Yeah, I think this is perfectly normal. Let her be a little curious for a month and then move on.
Yeah, if it was if it's all day,
she's sitting here crying over it all the time.
If it's every single day, I have to see more. I have to see her again. I have to see her again.
But an immediate check on Facebook seems kind of normal.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
It's curiosity.
We've all been curious. It was weird, to be honest, but I didn't probe much further, as it was just after our first date. And we have an update the next day. And by the way, this takes place in 2021.
Shout out that year.
So I got a lot of advice on my last post. Thank you. Most of it was helpful, with a lot of commenters detailing their own personal and painful experiences with similar situations. It was an eye-opening experience for me, so a special thanks to those commenters. Some comments were regular Reddit advice to break up, and one of them even called me a cucumber. LOL.
You cucumber.
But all in all, making this post did really help me a lot in deciding on how to approach this with my girlfriend. So anyways, now let's get on with the actual update. After reading the comments and doing some thinking, I decided the best course of action is to talk to her. So I went to her favorite restaurant, got her favorite dish packed, and then went to her apartment. When she came out, I told her that, look, I can't say I understand what you are going through, because I don't. It's something personal to you, and as much as I would like to help you out or share some of your grief, I respect your choice and decisions. But as your boyfriend, I do have some rights here, and I am invoking that right and asking you that you not be hungry and sad. If you want to be sad, then please be sad on a full stomach filled with your favorite food.
Cute.
That is all I ask. Hearing this, she became emotional. Then she said, I haven't been the best girlfriend in the world for the past week, and I apologize for that. It's just that it's been hard for me to see someone with whom I spent 9 years of my life and whom gave me a lot of excuses. Now he is just disregarding his own statements. Can you imagine anyone in a 9-year-old relationship where the couple don't live with each other or don't go on holidays together. They have absolutely no talk of getting engaged or married. Heck, he even got upset if I sent him a text while he was working. Well, me and my ex were like that. On top, he always used to say that marriage as an institution is archaic, and he won't participate in it.
I knew it. Like
I
I
knew it.
said.
That's
like,
exactly
yeah,
where it was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why it was just like, what the heck is going on? Like, this guy has been lying to me. Oh,
Sorry,
go
I
for it.
read a little bit. Also, he looks down upon age gap relationships too. Now he is marrying someone 8 years younger than him and is already living with her and gone on holidays together too.
It's like, see, again, it's a lot of the things that OP's girlfriend is just going through the process of like, what is going on? This guy is just
Yeah.
lying. He lied about everything. So I think her going through that process and being upset and being a little like curious and checking in on like what is like, I can't comprehend this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It also makes a lot of sense for you too, OP, where you're like, hey, you've been dwelling on that for a week now, and you check on it every single day. I'm
Yeah.
here too, and like I want to support and help you, but also
Valid to be very concerned
I get
about
both
it
sides.
all.
I get
Yeah.
both sides.
I think it's totally valid to be concerned about, like, oh, is my girlfriend not over her ex? But at the same time, like, she moved on also after a year of being in a 9-year relationship. A 9-year crappy relationship. I'm sure that a lot of times some emotions still pop up that she didn't even realize she wasn't over.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's not just because she's not over him. She seems very over him.
Yeah, and it seems like OP, you're doing the right thing. You took a lot of advice, and you didn't go about it in an angry manner. It was just like,
that's so
hey, yeah, you
sweet.
did a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, you guys could do a great thing, and that's going to listen to more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Got a little bit left. Let's dive right in. That's why I've been feeling down. I don't want him back. I have already upgraded to a much higher level. She meant me. But it's just the feeling of wasting 9 years of my life, which is the most painful. So I gave her a hug and told her that if she wanted a shoulder to cry on or a mouth to talk crap about her ex, I can do both. So we both shared a laugh then. When I was leaving, she asked if she can stay with me for a few days as she doesn't want to be alone. I said sure. So she came with me, and right now she is setting up her workstation in my other bedroom while I am making this update. She will be staying with me the whole week. So thank you again, people. You have been of immense help. That's the end of that.
My girlfriend was upset with me because I liked her gift.
I thought you wanted me to like it.
To start off, I, 32 male, had my birthday a few days ago. My girlfriend of 1 year, 29, and I just decided to celebrate it at home. Basically just ordered some food for dinner and watched a movie together. After the movie, I got up and said that I would maybe play some games for a bit while she took her bath and gets ready for bed. When she suddenly told me she got me a present. By the way, this comes from Yeedicus Rex, too. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we knew and know now. So let us know what you knew and also know now in the comments.
Nailed it.
But Opie says, now for some context, I am a fan of FromSoft games like Dark Souls, but I haven't gotten around to playing the game Elden Ring yet. I know that it's already been a few years since it's been released, but money has been tight, and I'm saving up for a car, so I haven't gotten the chance to buy it. My girlfriend doesn't play games, but does know about this because I may have hinted a bit that I wanted to play it for a while now. When she gave me her gift, which was very clearly a case for a game, I got a bit excited, thinking she had gotten me Elden Ring. But when I opened it, it wasn't Elden Ring, but a game called Code Vein for the PS4. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was kind of disappointed because it wasn't what I was expecting. But I grew up poor and my parents taught me to always be thankful for any gifts I received. I told my girlfriend, thank you. Got up, gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Okay, so now comes the weird part. After kissing her on the cheek, she gave me this kind of surprised look and asked, how do you like my gift? To which I was honest and replied, I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it looks kind of fun, so yeah, thanks. Again, she gave me a surprised look. So I went on to play the game. I have both a PS5 and a PS4, while she took her bath and did her nightly routine. It had been a while since I had played on the PS4, but after about a half an hour of playing, I was actually kind of digging the game a bit. It was basically kind of like Dark Souls, except a very anime kind of style. About an hour into playing, my girlfriend came down to tell me the bathroom was free and I could take a bath. Now, I don't remember the entire conversation word for word, but it went something like this. Oh yeah, sure, just give me 5 minutes to finish what I'm doing and save my progress. So you really do like the game? Isn't it like an old game? Yeah, but it's actually kind of fun. You picked a good one, babe. Thanks. So you're really not upset that I didn't get you the game you wanted? Yeah, I wanted Elden Ring, but this is good too. Why are you getting angry? It's your gift. At that point, she kind of had this frustrated look on her face, and although she wasn't shouting, she had raised her voice by a bit. She's like, you like it?
It wasn't what you wanted.
My plans have been foiled. Right. Ellie Javiard says, do men take baths? My dad does. But honestly, I don't know of any other men who do.
Men's bodies actually can't go underwater that much.
They drown.
They will drown if their shoulders go
Yeah.
under. So, no, actually, I don't know what your dad's doing, but
He's drowning.
but no.
Yeah, we just hear in the bathroom go, and we're like, Dad, get out of there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also think a lot of the men that I know don't take baths because they don't clean their baths.
That is so funny.
My bath has been cleaned, but I don't take baths.
Wow.
Because he's gonna drown.
He's gonna
I
drown.
mean,
You've
hello.
established this.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
slip and fall in the bath, I'm gonna drown.
You're gonna.
Wait, why are you standing while you're taking a bath?
Well, because the
He wanted-
shower is in a bathtub.
Because you know how when they say, like, can you run a bath for me? Mother, run me a bath.
Can you get a bath for me?
That means.
I
So
wanna,
Vincent misunderstood.
but I want to try that next time I
Yeah.
come
Don't.
home.
Yeah.
I just like, hey babe, can
Oh.
you run me a bath?
Okay, that.
And
I
just like
support
watch her be like,
After some back and forth between us, she then begrudgingly admitted that she purposely got me the wrong game to get back at me because on her birthday, I had gotten her the wrong gift. On her birthday, I had gotten her a bottle of perfume, but while I had chosen the correct brand of perfume, it apparently wasn't the exact one that she wanted. Now, in my defense, during that time, I did ask her flat out what she wanted, and she told me the brand of perfume. But on the day I was buying it, there were tons of bottles to choose from. And when I called to ask which one she wanted, all she said was, "You should know what scents I like. Surprise me." When I did give it to her on her birthday, she just smiled at me and said she loved it. So I honestly didn't question anything. So she then devised a plan so I would feel what she felt instead of talking to you, and thought that I would get upset at her for getting the wrong game, but didn't expect that I would actually enjoy it. Honestly, I'm not really even that upset at her for what she did, and this might be where I'm an a-hole. I even kind of laughed at her bad attempt at getting back at me when she explained it. I've also already apologized that I got her the wrong perfume and even offered to buy the right one for her on my next payday. But now she's still mad over it and is calling me an a-hole and isn't talking to me.
Okay, so I think that you laughing at that is not an a-hole move at
No.
all, because
No.
I would totally do the same thing.
I would laugh.
If someone is trying to get some sort of petty revenge, laugh at them.
I go, ha
works.
ha ha.
Ha ha ha, that's so funny.
That was hilarious.
Hilarious. And then they go, and they don't know what to say.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
And they run away.
That's silly. You were doing
She's
literally
silly.
everything right. And the fact that she didn't communicate to you, she lied to you about how happy she was about the thing. And then she tried to get revenge and was upset that you weren't upset, that you were just like super chill guy.
No, she's literally calling you an a-hole because you're not upset and you're offering to fix the situation.
Yeah, it's weird. I
like
don't
you foiled her evil plan by just being too chill.
Uh,
That's not on you, dude. That's awesome.
That's the best way
so
to be.
cool. So am I the a-hole? I'm not really sure because I guess I'm treating the situation kind of lightly, but maybe I'm not seeing things from her perspective. Any advice? And edit, yes, guys, I know you can play PS4 games on the PS5, but I have sentimental attachments to my PS4. It's the first console I bought with my own money, so I still play on it from time to time. Since she got me a PS4 game, I thought, why not play it on the PS4 since I had it? Update!
Uh-oh. I didn't see the spoilers.
Okay, good. What do you think?
I think they're probably going to break up.
No comment.
I
No comment.
think they're probably going to break up.
No comment. We're gonna get into this.
I mean, I think that they should.
Yeah.
I think, it could be something that they could work past.
Mm-hmm.
And just being like, yo, be honest. Don't be petty like that. But usually that doesn't go well with petty people. Usually they want
Yeah.
to stay petty. So
Like, why is she being so petty?
yeah.
I think the issue here is not that you are taking it so chill and that makes you an a-hole. I think you're taking it too chill because this is like a red flag.
I see what you're
Or
saying.
like you were taking it too chill considering that it is a red flag.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we want you to take it not chill in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Update. We broke up.
Dang.
Bummer.
Wow.
After reading a majority of your comments, I was able to formulate my thoughts properly. But please know that contrary to your guys' advice, I fully went into that conversation with the intent to maybe just work things out and talk things through. But things devolved so far from what I was originally expecting. It was about way more than just a bottle of effing perfume and a game. She had been avoiding bringing up the topic for the past couple of days, but today I urged her to sit down and to talk about what happened, why she did what she did, and what she wanted from me. We talked for about 2 hours, which were probably the longest 2 hours of my life. And after a lot of pushing on my part, she finally laid everything out to me. She said she acted the way she did because she was frustrated that I had stopped being romantic.
What?
She's like, no, you don't understand. The reason I didn't talk to you about anything and that I hatched this plot is because I wanted you to do something that I never told you to do.
Yeah. Like,
What don't you get?
Come on, girl.
So here's the thing. Over a year ago, when we first started our relationship, we were still living separately, and I was still renting out of a cheap apartment. Factoring out rent and utilities, whatever else I made, I would usually spend either on her, my hobbies, or my savings. So I usually got her flowers, trinkets, and gifts, go out on dates every other weekend, you know, the usual stuff. Things changed about 6 months ago because I managed to inherit an old house from one of my uncles. It wasn't big, just 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, living room, and a small basement, which is where I play. And it was a bit outside of the city area where I used to rent out at, but the actual plot of land it's on is pretty sizable. Plus, you know, it's a freaking house. Like I said in my original post, I grew up dirt poor, and I honestly thought I would be renting out of an apartment for my whole life. I'd never thought I would ever own my own property, so I was pretty happy with it. Now, my girlfriend was initially pretty happy that I got a house too, but after she actually saw the place, she kind of took it back and even suggested I sell the place instead, which I refused. She comes from a well-to-do family, so I guess the house wasn't that impressive in her eyes. Unfortunately, the house is kind of a fixer-upper, so a lot of the money I earn now goes into fixing up the house and maybe even expanding it. And since it's outside the city, I've also been setting aside some money to buy a car, which I never thought of doing before because I used to just commute, and the apartment I was at didn't have any space for tenants to park. So I guess my girlfriend has started to feel that I don't do as much of the romantic stuff I used to do before. We don't go out on dates as much, just usually on special occasions or holidays. And I don't get her as many gifts as before because most of my money's going to the house. I did try to point out that I still try to do small gestures here and there, like cooking her favorite foods and doing her chores for her. Heck, I even sometimes sing to her every now and then, even though I have a crap singing voice. Also, yesterday was Valentine's, so I did try to gift her some flowers and candy, but she just accepted it kind of sullenly. I offered to take her out for dinner, but she refused to. But yeah, even still, I guess that just wasn't doing it for her. She said that I wasn't as attentive to her wants compared to when we started going out, and she wasn't happy living in the small house I got. She said she only bothered moving in to show her support for me, but she honestly didn't like not living in the city. She said that me getting her the wrong perfume on her birthday was the final straw, and she wanted to bail on our relationship. When I asked her why she didn't just come out and tell me she wanted to end things, she said she wanted me to initiate the breakup because apparently her parents really liked me, and she was scared that she would be cut off from their support if she broke up with me. Things apparently weren't going well at her work, and she had been asking her parents for extra money for a while now, and she couldn't ask me for money because of the house. So essentially, she wanted me to get upset at her so that either A, I got frustrated enough at her so that I would initiate the breakup, or B, get upset enough at her so that she can play it off as he got really angry and she didn't feel safe with me anymore to her parents. But her plan wasn't going well because apparently nothing she did bothered me enough to the extent that I would fight over it.
This girl like actually made me facepalm at that. Like that's literally so silly. It's so silly goose.
So silly goose.
I understand some of these things. I can understand being upset about generally. Okay, well I want more attention. I want like this perfume, and oh, he didn't give me this. He must not know me. Like I can kind of understand that, but like you have to voice those concerns.
Yes.
And also like everything that she just said that she wanted, she never said out loud. And
Absolutely.
she's just expecting other people, like the fact that she was like, well, I was doing this because I wanted you to break, like that perfume thing was the last straw and I didn't want to be in this relationship anymore. Oh, why didn't you break up? I wanted you to do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
She can't even voice breaking up with him.
yeah, it's like, girl, go out there, be a strong, independent woman and do what you want to do. Don't wait for everyone else to do it for you.
Agreed.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And I support this breakup 100,000%.
She's being silly goofy.
Yes. Silly
Stop it.
goofy girl. Not
Stop it.
in the way that we like.
Mm-mm.
What's the thing that Dakota says? Like little baby.
Silly baby.
Silly baby.
Yeah.
That's giving a lot of that right now.
Give me
Yeah.
silly baby. She confessed to doing small, annoying things for the past few weeks, like piling up the dirty dishes or making a mess in the bedroom to try and piss me off, but nothing worked. I was so oblivious to it and basically functioned like normal that her patience had worn thin by my birthday, and me enjoying the gift caused her to snap.
She
This
just
is so
can't handle
funny.
how much of a chill guy OP is.
Yeah. I feel like this is like Yzma type like
Oh, yeah?
plots, but
Mhm.
nothing is working.
Yeah, yeah,
Like she's
yeah.
like, haha, I'm gonna do this, and then it doesn't work, and she's like, dang it,
right.
didn't even notice that one.
Right.
It
I
was
agree.
Yeah, it sounds like she's losing a winner right here. You want
it does.
like don't
Literally.
you guys want like a chill guy?
But
Yeah.
he's
Oh
he's,
yeah, I'll do the dishes if they're piling up. I
Yeah.
got that for you, babe.
Right.
he's dumping a loser though.
Totally.
It was such a messed up and convoluted plan that I have trouble wrapping my head around it even now. Anyway, after a long and frankly exhausting talk, she decided that things weren't going to work out between us. Aside from the obvious craziness of what she did, our priorities and values were just too different, and she also wasn't really happy with the state of our relationship. So she just suggested we break up, and she was going to deal with her parents her own way. She's packed some of her stuff and is staying at a friend's house for now. By the way, you should stay with us and listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. I think totally dodged a bullet, like Pattis is saying. I think just the fact that she was stupid enough to come up with that plan alone,
Yes.
it makes her completely unattractive.
Truly. And then
You're
she
stupid.
monologued her evil plot to you.
And it was stupid.
It was stupid.
Yeah. She like,
I
her
would be
evil
embarrassed
plot
to
was
her.
just waiting.
Yeah.
That was her plan.
Yeah,
was
no.
to wait for someone else to do what she wants.
Literally would be embarrassed to date her after this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good because you're not good at
So good on you, chill guy. Go
You're
be
just so
super
freaking chill.
Have fun with the new game that she got you.
Yeah, have fun being a chiller.
Yeah.
But we got a little bit left. I was honestly kind of dumbfounded over her reasoning, but I remembered a lot of your comments and I just agreed to part there. It really kind of sucks, and I still cannot believe this all started over a freaking video game. It's only been an hour since our talk, and I'm gonna lay down for a while to decompress. A lot of you guys said things that made me feel much better about myself. I don't really claim to be the perfect partner, and I definitely have some shortcomings, so I'm gonna do some self-reflection for a bit before getting into a new relationship. Hopefully I can learn from this and maybe be better for my next partner, if I ever find one. Hope you guys have good days, and always remember to be thankful for any gifts you get. LMAO. And that is the end of that story. My husband spent my bonus money to fund his hobby, leaving nothing for me.
Hey, what about my hobbies?
My husband, 28 male, and I, 27 female, have been married about 4 years now. We dated in college and got married after. He finished college with a financial degree and thought he would go into accounting. Well, he quickly found out that was not his passion. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Tired AF Wife. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Opie says, so he bounced around jobs and ideas like business, teacher, lawyer, but nothing really kept him saying, this is what I want to do. This was pre-vid. Since the vid, he has not attempted anything. He says after the pandemic, there will be a boom in jobs and he can find something that he's passionate about. I've been working full-time and thankfully my job became remote and pays the bills while keeping food on the table. After the fiscal year closed, My work is done really well. We were selling medical testing equipment, so it was a big product of 2020. I was given a promotion, a little pay raise, and a small bonus. I was really excited because I could finally repair my purse and replace my shoes. My friend's puppy destroyed them. I was wondering, I was like, what happened to your shoes and your purse? My friend's puppy destroyed them, but I acknowledge I should not have left my purse on a low stool in front of the puppy's bed. So my fault. I was so excited to tell my husband, but he seemed more excited than me over this promotion. He started going off about how he could redo his game area and get the new system since he was tired of his others. And I was dumbfounded. I got really quiet because I almost could not believe what he was saying. He eventually went out and got himself a new system, chair, and mouse. He basically spent my bonus. I was so upset and ultimately hurt and numb. We ended up getting into an argument, and he called me selfish for not being happy that he got to achieve his dream, and said I was spoiled for being upset I couldn't spend this money on myself first. I basically called him an ungrateful a-hole and asked why he deserves new stuff when I've been the one providing. He got really quiet on that one and stormed out saying he would be staying with his family, only about an hour away. I've been getting angry calls and texts because he didn't feel supported in his own home. And if I'm making the money, I can get whatever I want when I want, and I shouldn't throw it in his face that he doesn't have an income. Which is not true. I'm trying to keep a roof over our heads and food on the table. Dude, go get yourself an income.
Literally, that's all you gotta do. Literally go work at any fast food place and you'll make enough money to buy this game chair.
Come on. Go
Like,
do it yourself.
Just do it. Like, and the fact that he didn't even ask her about it in the first place, too. Like, I am interested in how that all went down, though.
Because he says, oh, I can get a new gaming thing. And then she was like, what? And then he went out and did it. So did you tell him in that moment?
Right. And also, because, I mean, I'm assuming they have, like, joint accounts or something. Or, like, he has her card or something like that.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I'm interested in why enough time passed for him to hear about the promotion and to bring home the stuff that he wants.
I was also wondering that.
Yeah, and you couldn't like say anything in that point of time.
Yeah, say, stop, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Think before you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
All his friends and family think I was way overreacting to something that makes my husband happy. My husband said that the next time we get a large sum of money, he would let me repair my purse. I haven't responded and don't think I will for many days. But I have gotten so many "you're such a witch" messages and accusations that I'm the a-hole that I'm starting to wonder if I really am. And summary, husband is bored with his game system stuff, so he used my bonus and raise to buy himself a new one without my permission, and when I got upset, I was labeled selfish and unsupportive. Am I the a-hole? And we've got an update. But what do you think?
Hang on.
Yeah, I'm hanging.
He already had a game.
He had a game system. He was bored with it.
He was bored.
Angie, you don't understand. He was bored with it.
Oh my gosh, it's my dream to get a new one. Oh.
He said, I have a Switch 1. I want a Switch 2.
I want to switch 2.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
insane.
any gaming system, minimum $500.
Okay.
Minimum. He minimum
Oh,
spent.
yeah. I see what you're saying. I was like, I didn't know where you were going with that. Yeah.
I mean, he minimum spent $500.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. And obviously, I'm glad this is like a promotion too. So there will be more
you'll
money
get that again.
consistently. But still, that is like, well, although she did mention something about a
She
bonus.
said bonus,
though.
yeah.
So I
was
don't
wondering
know
if it's just.
Maybe it wasn't a promotion. Maybe it was a bonus. But yeah, it's just like I think you maybe could have gotten that gaming system if you asked for it.
Yeah, maybe for Christmas.
Yeah, like I understand that maybe he's frustrated in his position of not making money, and he's frustrated that he has to go to his girlfriend or wife partner about it. But at the same time, it's like, even if you have a dynamic where it's like you both live off of one person's income, I feel like I would imagine there's still some rule or unspoken rule anyway to like still check in with the one that's making the money about whatever big purchase you make. Because like you said, that's a big purchase.
Update. Wow. Thank you, everyone. I was not expecting this kind of support. I appreciate all the kind messages and compassion. This is more than I have ever felt in my life, so thank you, Reddit. I took the weekend to reflect on what I want and read through the comments and messages. I can see your point, and I know I can't keep treating this like a marriage if he doesn't. So here's to today, and my first step, I am separating the finances immediately and contacting a local lawyer to see my options and rights, as well as looking into therapy options for him. I will present this to him and he gets to choose, but I refuse to baby an almost 30-year-old. If he wants that, well, he's got a mother. Thank you, everyone. I'll try to update in the future, and we've got an update 2 months later. Hello, Reddit. It has been a couple of months since my last post, and so much has happened. First, want to thank everyone who reached out and snapped me out of this daze with my soon-to-be ex. He was extremely toxic and just made me feel like I wasn't even worth anything. That's probably why it was so hard to see he wasn't right for me. So I want to thank everyone who offered words of encouragement and even the tough love. I needed to hear it. After he went back to his parents, he was waiting for my apology, which I never gave. When he noticed I had drained our joint bank account, he escalated, saying I was his and how I could never actually leave him and that he owned me. He said all of my success was his and that without him, I would be a loser dropout. His family was even worse. That's so funny.
Without him, you would be a loser dropout?
That's so funny.
What's this boy doing? I'm sorry?
That's
he dropped out of his
so
career?
funny.
Like,
That's hilarious.
you guys are insane.
That's actually hilarious.
It's actually hilarious.
What do you mean? What do you mean you'd be a loser dropout? I would, if someone told me that and they had no job and I was supporting their entire life and they said that to me, I
Yeah.
would laugh.
I would laugh and I would take everything I own.
I would go, ha ha ha
Ha
ha.
ha ha ha, get out of my house.
Because I had already blocked them, they started making fake accounts and using apps to hide their numbers to pester me. They said I had ruined the son's life and that he had sacrificed everything to get me where I am. And throwing him to the side like this was disgusting and I deserved to rot. I provided all of this to my lawyer, who recommended I take out a restraining order in case he wanted to escalate further and to not engage ever, but just keep the records. This has caused my anxiety to go through the roof, and I'm working on this with my therapist. I have separated the finances completely and changed my banks, and even told them my soon-to-be ex is never allowed access to these accounts because he would take it all and run. I have changed my number and gone completely social media free besides this. By the way, you can never be free of more episodes with stories just like this. They're all on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, so go check them out. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Screw this guy.
Go ahead.
I'm glad we're getting out of this. I'm glad we're seeing how toxic he was. It sucks that it's going down this way, but I like that you've got a lawyer. I like that you've got a therapist. I like that you're holding on to these records, getting a restraining order.
Yeah.
It will die down eventually, but
Yeah.
for now, it sucks.
For now, it is dying up.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a little bit left to this story. Part of me is broken that our marriage came to an end over a computer. I keep thinking I'm stupid and wondering how I couldn't see the warning signs. I must look like a fool to everyone. All in all, I'm slowly picking up the pieces of my life and figuring out how to move forward. Thank you to anyone still reading this, and thank you to everyone who helped me to get here. Summary, I'm officially filing for divorce after I never apologized to him, which only made my soon-to-be ex-husband and his family start pestering me to the nth degree. I was having a panic attack every time the phone rang, so I had to change my number and delete any social media. I am gaining my freedom from my toxic partner and his family. Congratulations.
Yes, this
And
is
that's the end.
Independence Day. How
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
My principal asked me out.
Are you a student or a teacher?
Ugh.
For the love of God.
I, 27 female, am
No!
a middle school teacher.
Thank God.
Last year, we got a new principal, 40s male, in our school who is very unpopular amongst the teachers. He has been very critical in all his evaluations and shared some unkind words with our teachers when he has had a criticism. By the way, this comes from Principal Asked Me Out, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Opie says, I, on the other hand, have received glowing evaluations as a teacher under every observation. I have yet to hear mean or harsh criticisms from him, and I even got a lot of new things for my classroom this year that no other teacher got. I'm really upset and feeling like crap now. I thought he appreciated me and had respect for me as a teacher. I really did. But after school today, I went to his office to ask him about a semester exam for a particular student. After we discussed the student, he got up and shut the door and sat in the seat beside me. I got a pit in my stomach because I thought I was being disciplined for something I did wrong. He then said that he had heard me saying that I get together with friends on the weekends to play cards. He asked if I'd ever like to get together, just the two of us, and play cards at his house.
He's like, hey, I heard you like to hang out and play cards. Why don't we go play solitaire together at my place?
Right.
Okay.
Wait, what is that?
Carly has evidence of Dakota.
Someone put this in the Discord.
Evidence of Dakota abusing this mic that is in my hand.
Okay.
He was very clear he did not mean it as a date because he is my direct supervisor, and that he meant it as just friends. Not sure I believe that. He just asked me not long ago if I was making another visit soon to a state where my ex-boyfriend lives, and I told him that I wasn't with that guy I used to visit, so no. My face got really hot, and I stammered that I would not be interested in dating, but maybe sometime because I was too nervous to say no with him sitting next to me. I have been really upset since I got home. I've been so stupid to actually think that I was a great teacher. Well, you could still be a great teacher, but just his evaluation is unreliable.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold a lot of weight to anything this guy says about anyone.
I feel like it's all been a lie, and I just want to curl up in a ball and cry. All of my glowing evaluations mean nothing.
Do the kids like you? That's all that really matters.
Yeah, kids like you, they're learning things, then you're good. I plan to go to his office before school very early tomorrow and tell him that I've thought about it and I'm not interested and think that it would be a bad idea to spend time together under any circumstance. What is the best way to approach this? How do I pick up my self-esteem? And there are some comments, but what do you think, Dakota?
Movie day with the students. And everyone will go, oh, Miss OP's the best. We watched a movie on a Wednesday.
Yeah. She let us watch a movie and she left the room, so who knows what we'll get up to.
I mean, honestly, like, just focus on you and your lesson plan and your students.
I think that you can, like, go to him and say, like, hey, on second thought, like, I don't think it would ever be appropriate for me to go to your house one-on-one to play cards. I think, even if we didn't date and it was platonic, I think it would very much look like it was a date, and either way, be very inappropriate. So I think that's a bad idea. You could say that too, as like, I know you said it wasn't a date, to try to, like, I don't know, appease him
Yeah,
a
it's
little
just
bit.
the optics. I
but,
just
like,
don't want the optics of
yeah.
going to your house alone.
Or just hanging out one-on-one together at all, even. And then maybe you can even mention something about, like I appreciate the good evaluation. I just want to double check that it is not about any sort of personal feelings
Yeah.
towards me, because I believe you have not asked any of the other teachers. Same. But we do have some comments. I'm so lost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 says, responding to the idea that all my glowing evaluations mean nothing. Just because he likes you doesn't mean that you aren't a good teacher and that your work is not excellent. Don't let him have such power over yourself. Do you love your students? Do you do your best to give them a good education? Do they get along with you? Focus on that, not on him. Exactly what you were saying. Opie says, my students brighten each and every day for me. I try to make the subject as interesting as possible, and I'm excited to come to school each day. I love each of my colleagues as well. They always ask me why I'm in such a good mood. I take the time to chat with them and see them as often as possible. I have been at the school 2 years longer than this man. Prime's Ghost says, my wife is an elementary school teacher and her principal did the exact same thing last year. The teacher in question filed a complaint with the Teachers Association and the superintendent. The district took it super seriously and the principal was fired and replaced before the end of the school year. You should file a grievance. The principal has a lot of power over the teachers in a school, and I can't think of a way to look at a situation like this without there being a serious problem. That's honestly, I didn't even think about that you should just report the teacher. Because then you can also mention, I don't know if it's related, but everyone else is getting terrible reviews and I've gotten glowing reviews. And personally, I think that all the other teachers are very good. So
You could certainly do that.
yeah. Opie says, I feel like I'm in a sticky situation because he made it clear in telling me that he was not interested in dating, but just hanging out alone. Right. What should I say to him? On the other hand, I do wonder if this could be a blessing in disguise for all of my teacher friends. They are so unhappy. I hate to see them miserable at work. And there is an update, but yeah, I feel like reporting him and getting him fired would benefit your friends, all your teacher friends.
Yeah, just make sure it stays anonymous,
Yeah, and I honestly, I feel like the fact that he said he's not interested in dating has nothing to do with it at all. The fact that he asked to hang out one-on-one at his house is not a professional thing to do at all.
Yeah, unless you were like already like besties with that guy, which you're
Yeah.
not.
Which you're not. We got to start in like group settings first at the very least.
Yeah, he asked you about the group card games instead of being like, "Can I come?" He was like,
Yeah.
"Do you want to have your own group card game at my house? Except we're the only people in the group,
Yeah,
and we're playing
exactly.
solitaire."
Exactly. It's so weird. But we do have an update. Most hated man in the district. One thing I noticed in the original post is that many replies said to contact HR immediately. Those comments were pretty out of touch with my actual small school system in a tiny community. The chain of command goes from principal, then directly to superintendent of schools. Also, that means that transferring to another school in the district would be out of the question. I thought comments telling me to leave or to transfer were taking it a bit too far. I adore the school and I have more self-respect than to just leave an uncomfortable situation. I received so much encouragement from others in my original post. The next day after I wrote the post, I left very early for school. I arrived before any other teachers were there, and only Mr. S in his office. I left a recorder in my pocket, legal in my state, and walked into his office to ask if I could speak with him. Briefly, with the recorder on, I told him I was very uncomfortable with being asked to spend time with you at your home alone. He simply said, "Okay," and I left. Pretty uneventful, but I was worried that he would deny it happened when I reported him, so I wanted to make sure I had something on tape. And you should still keep that tape, even if he didn't deny it, because he could still deny it to others later. So, in regards to the resolution, I gave a written statement to my superintendent of schools about the incident. The school system is tiny, about 600 students from P to 12, so they don't have an HR, and it's not unusual to go directly from principal to superintendent with no middleman. I won't go too much into the discussion, but we came into a mutual agreement that it towed the line. He agreed to my own suggestion that I should come to him as soon as anything else happens. My main concern was that I would be treated differently after turning him down. This actually did happen, which I will get to in a moment.
Very much to be expected.
Yeah, not surprised.
I would have pressed him a little bit more in that recording. I would have been like, "I was very uncomfortable when you did that," and then he goes, "Okay," and then you go, "Are you sure that you didn't have any other motives? Like, are you sure? You know?"
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, like
And
I
then
just want to make it clear that you understand that that looks exactly what you were denying. Like it looks like you want to date me.
right.
That would be a date, essentially. However, I had an unexpected turn of events in January and ended up putting in my resignation late February. Oh, wow. I applied for a position closer to my hometown and have now moved back home for personal, unrelated reasons, an illness in the family. Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm actually not in that school anymore, but I miss it very much, and I hope to go back someday. Once I had put in my resolution, nothing Mr. S did affected me anymore. He never made another pass at me and stopped talking to me completely. In fact, he stopped talking to me at all. It was like I didn't exist. He began ignoring my discipline issues, and I didn't even care since I was leaving in May. After the 2 years of glowing reviews from him at the end of the year, he tore me apart in my evaluation, despite having only been inside my classroom once that year. I didn't care at all.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, how can, like, a lot of times
Yeah.
they're not even in touch with what's going on.
Not at all.
So
He's just making
why
things
does that
up.
matter?
I would only worry that like that would come up if you're trying to get future jobs or something, but I think with your information and your recording and your past evaluations, the situation becomes pretty clear. That it was
Yeah.
all feelings based and not he's like one of the middle schoolers just like OP is a nutmeg. OP is such
Yeah.
an ugly little witch. OP is so meanie.
ugly loser because she doesn't have a crush on.
Yeah, I
She's
didn't even like her
stinky.
anyway. Can't believe she thought it was a date. I didn't even like her. She's ugly and boring and
Yeah.
gross.
Everyone knows Stacy's so stupid and I'm the smartest boy in town.
Yeah, exactly.
She's probably too stupid to know she likes me.
Stupid. At the end of the year, the superintendent asked me to reconsider staying. He told me how much he admired the hard work I put into teaching, and he felt that they wouldn't find a quality foreign language teacher to replace me in that small district. I wanted to stay, but again, I was moving for personal reasons and could not. The goodbyes were very hard, and I hope you never say goodbye to us and always listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
This guy
before we
needs to
move
be
on?
fired.
Totally, dude.
Guy needs to be fired.
Totally.
He's weaponizing his performance reviews.
Yeah.
He needs to be not in a position of authority.
Yeah, he's like not doing his job. He's like filling out these evaluations and stuff, but they're not actual evaluations. They're just like diary entries, and then that's it. And then he's asking out his coworkers.
It's just a perfect example of bureaucracy at its worst.
Yep.
You know, the bureaucracy of the school system, the school administration. It's just a bunch of inept people failing upwards most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get good ones, and that's nice. But
Totally.
wow, bureaucracies are usually filled with incompetent folks.
Just like this one. But there is a little bit more to the story. And now the cherry on top, the superintendent had been quietly gathering reports and complaints about the Mr. S's performance from all of the unhappy teachers. He met with him before the school year began to have a meeting about changes and improvements that he wanted to see happen. And Mr. S just quit on the spot. 5
Wow.
days before the school year began for teachers. Oh my gosh.
Well,
That's crazy. There he goes. Trash took himself out.
like a toot in the wind.
Yep. Wow. He really left the school high and dry. They have not found a replacement principal and are making it work with the superintendent doubling as his job and select staff members stepping in to cover other duties. So all in all, he is now the most hated man in the school district, and I don't have to be there among the madness this year. The superintendent has also emailed me recently to let me know that I'm welcome to come back to the district anytime, and that's so lovely. That's so
Nice.
wonderful.
Yeah, dude, you're the best. And he's the worst.
He's the worst. And it all worked out. Well, he quit.
Yeah,
Right
he
before he
did.
got
I wish he
fired.
would have got fired,
Yeah.
but
then he would have
quit.
gotten like severance or something, so I'm chill with him quitting. And then how is he gonna like explain that to his future jobs in his job interviews? Just like, why did you leave your last position? Yeah, they
He's
were being
gonna-
real stinky mean to me, and so I quit because I
He's
didn't
gonna
like
be like,
them.
there was like a foreign language teacher who was just so obsessed with me that it was
Yeah.
making my job impossible to do without, distraction and
Yeah.
diversion, and there were,
Exactly.
it's a whole thing. I don't really want to get into it,
know.
because those people always do that.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't get to actually have their fantasy like come true. So like now in the future, when they're like replaying it in their head, they're gonna be like, no, it wasn't me who was weird.
Yeah, they
They
don't
were
even
the
know how to
weird
tell
one.
the story because they are so in denial. But that is the end of that story. We've got another one coming right up.
My brother is a freeloader, so I want to ban him from my birthday dinner.
You don't get any piece of my birthday cake today.
My younger brother has always been kind of a mooch. He was always my father's favorite son, and therefore was always catered to whenever he wanted something, especially money, with no consequences. I, on the other hand, was usually told no, or in the best of circumstances, told that there would be consequences. By the way, this comes from Chaos Break 75, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, for over a decade, he had my parents paying his expensive rent and utilities while at the same time flaunting expensive foods he was purchasing whenever they'd send him money. Now he's married to a woman who has 3 kids from a previous marriage. She is nice, definitely nicer than my brother deserves, and her 2 youngest kids are nice as well. One is in college and lives on campus, one is in high school. Her oldest is kind of clueless, and I'm not too fond of her. She doesn't live with them. But even though he now has a spouse who works 2 jobs, he still constantly mooches off my mother. Always asking for money, always getting it, regardless of whether my mother can actually afford to do so or not. The stress of one loan even put her in the hospital for a week.
Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
Yikes.
The one thing that always gets under my skin is how whenever there is the possibility of getting a free meal out of my mother, their entire family shows up. They live a state away, about 1.5 to 2 hour drive, and whenever there is a holiday meal to be had, both personal or national, each and every one of her kids finds a way to drop everything to make sure they are there, especially if it's a dining out situation, because my mother always insists on paying. My brother takes over the ordering of the meals and makes sure there is more than needed so that they can have leftovers to bring back home with them. Whenever they are boxed up to go, my brother snatches them up as if he paid for them himself. My mother is way too nice to say anything to his face, but she has told me multiple times that she hates how he takes advantage of her. The latest event was during my sister-in-law's birthday earlier this month. My mother offered to take her and my brother out for a nice dinner, but sure enough, all 3 kids showed up with them, and the oldest thought it would be okay to bring her new boyfriend as well.
Oh my god.
I was not there due to work, so I didn't see this go down. If I was, I would have snapped on them. But like I said, my mother is too nice. Of course, too much food was ordered, the check was very expensive, and all the leftovers were snatched up before anyone could do anything about it.
Ugh.
My mother was beyond PO'd and told me after the fact that the next time she invites specific people over for a meal, those are the people that had better show up. Or at least the only ones that you're going to pay for.
Yeah, right? It's like
Yeah.
inviting, if you got an invite, then you got
Yeah.
my money.
Then I will pay for your meal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if anyone else does, everyone will be turned away, family or not. Honestly, I feel the same way. I have told my brother many times that my mother is not made of money and that he can't keep telling her it'll just be me and my wife that will drop by, and then 3 extra people that she didn't budget for show up unannounced. My brother always waves me off, kind of like how my father used to, and tells me it's not a big deal. I'm at the point where I don't want them around regardless of the holidays. The main reason I'm writing this here is because my birthday was this past weekend, and it was a milestone.
Happy
a
birthday.
big one. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I hope it was happy. Do we think it's going to be?
No,
No.
I'm scared.
Ah.
Of course, my mother wanted to go out to dinner to celebrate. I felt that after the sister-in-law's birthday situation, I didn't want any of my brother's family there at all. I'm content with it just being me and my mother. But knowing her, she will tell him the when and where, and then every single one of them, their significant others, and their dogs will show up expecting to get fed for free. Would I be the a-hole for not inviting my brother's family to my milestone birthday dinner? I don't think so.
After all of that, I really don't think so.
I feel like it's perfectly reasonable to be like, I just want a birthday dinner with my mom.
Yeah, honestly.
But we have some comments. Commenter 1, I'm very bewildered. She's an adult woman and she's not able to say no, but she goes and complains to her other child who tries to fix the situation that her mother puts herself in. Not the a-hole, but goodness, your mom needs to take personal responsibility. OP says, I agree that she definitely needs to speak up for herself, but like I said, she is too nice. I've gotten on her about this issue multiple times, but as I live about an hour from her and aren't there for most of these incidents, I hear about them after the fact. By not inviting them to my dinner, I'm hoping it will be a big signal that things need to change, not only for her, but for him as well. Someone replies, your mother will not talk to your brother directly, but she complains about him behind his back. You and I have different definitions of nice. Someone replies, if your mom wants to keep bringing a problem to your table, but not actually want to work towards a solution, then you are not a support. You're simply a venting board. That's very one-sided emotional dumping. She needs to be told to either open her dang mouth and stand up for herself, maybe even with you by her side for support, or stop trauma dumping her feelings on you. Not the a-hole, but she won't start setting boundaries with your brother until you start setting boundaries with her as a support system. Good luck. Comment 2. Every time she goes to mention him, stop her. Tell her it bothers you how she lets him take advantage of her, and as you have no choice in the matter, you're no longer willing to hear about it. If she persists, get off the phone or take your leave if it's in person. Also, if you still want to have a birthday dinner with her without him and his family forcing their way in, insist you pick her up and bring her to the restaurant, and don't tell her where beforehand. It's sad to have to go there, but you can still find a way to have a relationship with her without enabling her to enable him and keep your own boundaries. That's a really smart idea.
It's honestly pretty smart.
Pretty
Yeah.
smart.
You could do some scheming over here.
Yes. She makes the plans. You show up. She go, Mom, we're not doing any of that.
Right.
Get in the car.
Yeah.
She's
Put the
at the
blindfold
restaurant
on.
texting them, and she's like, "We're actually over here now." Come over
Right. I
here."
know. I was kind of thinking about that. Like, you'd have to have everyone. Like, I feel like they would just start calling people, and you'd have to have everyone, like, mute them.
Yeah.
Mute their phones. So it's just like, no. Just keep
I'd be
them
like,
away.
Hey, Mom, get in the car. Give
Yeah.
me your phone.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so we're not
feel-
following any of the plans.
We're not doing any of that. And you're totally safe right now. Don't worry.
Don't even worry about it.
Don't
Mom.
worry. I've got you.
Comment 3. Until Mom figures out her extreme people pleasing and favoritism, put her on an information diet. Don't tell her where you want to go. She will tell them, hoping that they magically act right and fulfill her desire for him to suddenly stop pulling this crap. He will not. He will do it again because he's done it for decades. They're about 2 hours away, so just tell Mom that you're coming over sometime on the weekend and you can go from there. Then just show up. The first thing she's going to do is compulsively tell him you're there and try to stall you so they can make it. Don't give in. Tell her that you go right now or you'll have to show up another day. Then have her silence her phone for 2 hours so she can actually pay attention to you on your B-day instead of making it about him. Update 1 month later.
Do we think she's going to go with all of these plans? These are great plans.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it's not going to go that
I feel
easily.
like she's going to find some way around it somehow. But
yeah, or she's just going to get mad. Like, I feel like the mom
Right.
is just going to be so mad at OP for
But do you
trying
think that she'll ruin the birthday dinner over it still?
The mom?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the mom wouldn't want to ruin the birthday dinner, but she probably also wouldn't think that that would ruin the birthday dinner.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
So, maybe.
I don't know. Update 1 month later. It's been a while since I posted the original, so I thought I'd leave an update as to what happened when my birthday dinner actually took place. So my mother wanted to take me out to dinner for my birthday, and I laid out some ground rules before we invited everyone. I told her that the only people I wanted to attend were me, her, my brother, and his wife. No one else. So an update, we got more people then.
Okay.
I also told her that if they tried to push to have their kids attend, the only people that would be attending the dinner would be me and my mother. I wanted my mother to finally put her foot down about this issue, since she's the one who is always getting screwed by my brother, to straight up tell him that his behavior in the past was no longer going to be tolerated. And it worked!
Oh, what?
By the way, you know what also works?
What?
You go and listen to full episodes with stories just like this. You just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime, and it'll work. Stories will show up.
That's
You can
true.
listen to them.
Technology works, guys.
It's crazy. I hope it
Wow.
works. We got a little bit more.
Oh my gosh.
How do you think this went?
Well, if it works, then
Do we think it worked perfectly, or?
I'm thinking it did.
Okay.
I just want to find out now. That was like a
Let's-
cliffhanger to leave off on.
Let's just find out then. Sure enough, my brother and his wife agreed to the terms, made sure that their kids would be spending the day of the dinner with their birth father, and we all had a nice time at dinner talking and catching up over some good food.
Okay.
How was that so easily resolved then?
It's great.
And there were no leftovers to take home either. They were surprisingly okay with the new rules.
Okay.
I think my mom gave him a good what for about it. I just hope this behavior continues. Major holidays excluded, of course. Some comments. Commenter 1, I'm so glad it worked out. It blows my mind that people are so selfish. Me and my husband and my sister / brother-in-law and my parents briefly scuffle over the check, but in our cases, we are all trying to pay for everyone else, not trying to mooch.
Yeah.
That's the end of that story.
Wow. Okay, so
It worked!
all it took was some
Yay.
good old-fashioned communication.
We just had to set terms to our
Yeah.
birthday dinner.
That's all we had to do.
It's that easy the
That
whole
was
time.
this whole time.
That's crazy.
Maybe we could have done this sooner.
Maybe
Maybe.
that That could work. I refused to rekindle with my family after years of no contact because I felt obligated.
You're not hearing from me ever.
And we have a trigger warning for mention of physical altercation. My 25 male family pretty much cut all ties with me at the end of 2015. Things had been a bit turbulent for a while, but when I went over to my parents' house for Christmas in 2015, I got very wasted one night and got into an argument with my younger brother, which ended up turning physical. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 271215, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, without going into massive detail, he had said something which struck a nerve, and I ended up injuring him quite badly. There was a question of potentially involving the police, but nothing ever happened in regards to that. In the end, they all just told me they wanted nothing to do with me anymore, which is fair enough. I was completely in the wrong, and they were absolutely right to want to cut me off. I had already moved out by that stage, so it was more just telling me to never come back. I genuinely regret what I did and have spent time trying to self-improve in the wake of it. It was quite difficult for me to come to terms with all of this for the first year or so afterwards. The only person in my family I had any contact with was my mom. We never really spoke in depth, just small updates, wishing each other happy birthday and things like that. Honestly though, after that first year, things have gotten so much better for me. I stopped drinking, which was the root of my problems. I got my head down and ended up doing very well at uni. I've now got a job that I love, and I've been with my girlfriend for the best part of 4 years. And things are absolutely great. To be brutally honest, I don't miss my family. My relationship with them hadn't been great for a while before the fight, and being on a non-contact basis with them, apart from occasional contact with my mom, was for the better. However, over the last few months, my mom began messaging me much more frequently, asking more personal questions about my life, my work, my relationships, etc. I thought it was just boredom on her part, but she maintained it for a while and began to introduce the idea of me coming back to visit her at some point, which I always shrugged. She started to persist with it, and then yesterday it all came to a head when she added me to a WhatsApp group chat with the rest of the family. I was then told how they had all come to a family decision that 5 years was enough, that my brother found it in his heart to forgive me for what happened, and that they wanted me to come over at some point to catch up on lost time. These are all quotes that they sent me.
Hey.
I didn't say much. I just said I wanted time to think. I'm quite torn on this now. Part of me feels like I'm obliged to go along with it. They cut contact with me because of my own actions, and if my brother has forgiven me and wants to reestablish contact with me, then it's my duty to do so. On the other hand, I feel like since contact was cut, my life improved a lot. My relationship with them had been on a downward slope for a far bit of time beforehand, and I just haven't found myself missing any of it. That's why I'm asking for advice. Would you say that I'm obliged to go and reestablish contact because it was my fault that contact was cut? Or do you think it would be acceptable for me not to do so? We have an update.
I don't think you ever have to reestablish contact if you
No.
find that your life is better without that person.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean, definitely take some time and think about it and be like,
Yeah.
you know, is there anything I miss? Is there any stone left unturned in this relationship?
Right. Is this something that I would want as I get closer to maybe marrying my partner or
Yeah.
something?
Would my relationship with them be better now because I am in a
Right.
better place than, you know, my relationship what used to be?
Yeah. I will say that if you choose not to,
Yeah.
I could see it being a potential for like, we're not going to come back to reestablish it later. I would like to think maybe they'd leave it open for if you ever changed your mind, but like that always is an option of them then going back and being like, okay, we're going to close
Yeah.
communication then.
So just like think about it.
Yeah.
Take some time, but if you ultimately realize that this just isn't something that's going to better your life, then yeah.
Not
Your
wrong at
decision.
all. Update. I wasn't initially planning on doing an update for that post, but the amount of responses I got were absolutely unprecedented, so I decided it was right for me to do one. I didn't respond to every single comment, but I did read all of them. I greatly appreciate everyone's input, whether it was positive or negative. I'll start off by saying that soon after that post was written, I phoned my brother. We talked for a few minutes about how things were going, and then I apologized to him for what happened back in 2015. He didn't specifically say he forgave me, but he was amicable and said that he appreciated me doing it. I'm glad I did it. I know 5.5 years is a long time to have gone without doing it, but that was the first vocal conversation I'd had with him since the family cut contact. He told me that the whole incident hadn't left him with any lasting mental or physical damage, and while I have no true way of knowing whether that's completely true, I was glad to hear it. In terms of the actual resumption of contact, it won't be happening for now. After a few days of talking to the family as a collective in the group chat, as well as some individual conversations with family members, I told them that I was happy to increase contact with them through messaging, but that as things stand, I didn't think resuming face-to-face contact would be right. As I stated in the initial post, I was already having severe doubts about it, and the conversations I had with them pretty much made up my mind for me. I'll list a few examples here. The group chat was titled Reunion, so it was pretty obvious what their intentions were. The initial language used by them when I was adding bothered me. Things like my mom saying my brother had found it in his heart to forgive me, and them coming to a family decision that 5 years was enough, made it seem like there was no chance of it being a normal family relationship at all, and that I would always be indebted and subservient to them in some form. I had no issue with being cut off, and they were pretty justified in doing so, but that doesn't mean I would be prepared to come back and be in a constant state of owing one and likely being made to feel pressured to do things for them. This sort of language continued throughout me being in that group chat. Some more examples were being told that I had lots of work to do if we wanted a normal relationship. Notice that they didn't say we. And I was also compared to the prodigal son multiple times by my very religious parents, which just made me think they were doing it for their own spiritual reasons, rather than actually being interested in having me back as part of the family. The final nail in the coffin was that when I specifically expressed doubts about it, my dad said, "After all you did to us as a family, we've decided to let you back in." And then pretty much went on to tell me that I should be biting their hands off for the chance to make amends, and that I was ungrateful for not doing so. I told them I was backing out of it pretty soon after that. A few of the replies to my original post asked if any of them needed an organ. I initially brushed this off as a joke, but after some of the conversations I had, I genuinely think it's possible that that's true. My girlfriend, 24, is also a big reason why I was initially having doubts. I 100% know that my dad would dislike her, not through any fault of her own. If I resumed a somewhat normal father-son relationship with him, I'm almost certain that he'd try to interfere in some way, and would at the very least encourage me to end things with her. We've been together for almost 4 years and have discussed marriage, so she absolutely takes priority over the family. Those are the main reasons behind me choosing not to go down the route of face-to-face contact with the family. There are a few other things to do, such as the fact that they seemed awfully interested in grandchildren who didn't even exist, and also that I suspected that it was all my mom's doing and the rest of the family weren't that interested. I'm fairly sure she was feeding the others lines. My 14-year-old brother was typing an awful lot like my 45-year-old mom, let's put it that way. With all of these factors combined, my initial doubts, I had messaged them telling them that while I did appreciate them trying to get me to do so, I just had too many doubts about it to go and start meeting with them face to face or going to their house. I did say that they all had my number now and were free to text me at any point if they wanted to talk, and then left the group chat. I know they've all read it because they all have been online since I sent it, but I haven't had a single message from any of them. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure if I ever will. And yet, I can't really say I feel that sad about it. I'm glad I've apologized to my brother, and if that's the end of all contact with them, then so be it. My mom was contacting me every day in the months leading up to her deciding I should start seeing the family again. Now it's beginning to seem to me that she was doing so because she wanted me to return to them on my hands and knees, groveling and begging for forgiveness. Things certainly began to turn a bit sour when it became clear that I wasn't going to do that. By the way, I hope it's always clear that you can always listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. You got a little bit more, but
It just doesn't seem like your family is searching to reunite with you and reconcile purely for the,
yeah.
the sake of reconciliation
And for them
and for missing
saying,
you.
Yeah. And for them saying that your brother's forgiven you,
Yeah,
You
like
can't
let's hear
really
from the
act-
brother.
yeah. And you can't really ask for like begging after
No.
getting to this point of being like, you've been forgiven.
Yeah, I think my advice would be that if there is anyone in the family, like your brother that you want individual contact with, don't let your entire family stop you from having that, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you had a nice moment with your brother and you were like, you know what, I actually missed this and I appreciate that he's forgiven me, then yeah, like let's have that individual relationship. You let him know, hey, not have no desire to have the relationship with everyone else, just want it with you. If that is not the case and you don't want the relationship with anyone, then yeah, also fine.
Yeah, and be prepared that people may still get mad about
Yeah.
that and try to get mad at you guys for it, but
Yeah, but
Your
I think
guys'
your
choice.
brother's forgiveness is between you and him and no one
100%,
else.
not the whole family. At the end of the day, I'm never going to pretend that they were for a second wrong for cutting contact with me. They did it to protect their 15-year-old son, and I completely understand it. Ultimately, though, I grew up, ended my regular use, and built a life for myself without them involved. It's very likely that they still had this image of the 19-year-old who turned completely white when he was told they wanted nothing more to do with him. But that really isn't me anymore. I also don't love that your family, knowing that you have a regular use problem with that, and maybe they did try to get you help, but it felt really quick to cut contact. I know that you did harm your brother, in which case I totally agree about the removal of you from that home in that
Yeah.
moment. But I hope that they at least tried to get you the help if you were open to getting it, and that could have saved a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean it is really difficult.
Yeah.
With people who are, you know, going through those situations.
I just hope that they were still there for you if you wanted them to be.
It's tough.
That really isn't me anymore. When they initially kicked me out, I felt like I needed them even though we didn't have the greatest relationship. 5 years on from that, I certainly don't think I do anymore. The end of that story.
My fiance left me at a football match that I didn't even want to attend.
Time to become a football fan.
I don't watch or pay attention to sports at all. Not my thing. My fiance loves sports, especially football. I understand everyone has different hobbies and interests. Football is basically a religion here. By the way, this comes from Vent Throwaway for this. And if you want to submit your own stories, where do you got to go, Carly?
The OK Storytime subreddit.
I am Riley,
I'm Carly.
Did you forget your name? I'm Keon.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have the answers. I don't even know my name. And if you got anything you do differently in the comments, let us know. We read them. As OP says, he is always asking me to go to a game with him. I'm not interested in football at all, but since it was important to him, I said, yeah, why not? We went to a game with his brother. My fiance was excited because it was the first game of the season. We had 3 tickets, but when we got to the game, only 2 of the seats were together and 1 was somewhere else. I don't know how that happened. I thought the tickets were always for seats together. My fiance said he didn't know what happened. I ended up being the one to sit alone. I wanted to sit with my fiance, but he said the other seats were better, and since I didn't like football, it shouldn't matter where I sit. I hated it. I had strangers all around me, and a lot of them seemed like they were wasted. And no matter how many times I asked my fiance to have his brother switch seats with me, he said no. I ended up spending most of the game by one of the places that sell snacks and drinks instead of at my seat because a couple of the strangers were rude and I was getting nervous sitting alone. There was one security guard, but all he said was that it's normal for people at games to be loud and excited. I did not have a good time, and on top of it, my fiance and his brother basically gave me the silent treatment on the way home from Chicago because their team didn't win. My fiance says I'm overreacting and that football games are safe for women, so I'm blowing things out of proportion. He doesn't see a problem with me having to sit alone, and we've argued about it. I don't care if anyone reads this or not. I'm venting because most people think my fiance is right and say it's not a problem to sit alone at a game. I felt disrespected, and him telling me I'm overreacting is impacting our relationship. I'm fully prepared for people here to agree with him, but I had to vent somewhere. It's been almost 2 months, but I can't get over it. I don't even care if anyone reads this. Almost everyone I know says I'm overreacting. I know a couple of people who say my feelings are justified, but anyone who likes football seems to think I'm wrong and my fiance is right. Am I overreacting? We have one comment here. Is he always this self-centered and selfish? You don't show up to a game and just found out one ticket is somewhere else? We always know our sporting concert event sitting in advance. You know when we purchase them? I'm guessing someone, hint hint, knew the seating arrangements ahead of time and did not tell you.
Yeah, it felt very on purpose.
At least during this excursion, someone, hint hint, cared a lot more about their own happiness versus spending time with his fiancée, teaching her a little about the awesome game, sharing the excitement and experience, making positive memories, and ensuring her safety. If this is regular behavior for him, I hope you haven't dated for many years, because I would not want to look back at my life with regret for not pulling the plug and leaving the knucklehead sooner. If this is not regular behavior, then it's time for a sit-down conversation about why this wasn't okay. Adult, logical, respectful conversations are relationship-enhancing tools that we all need. Good luck, and God bless you, OP. Update 11 days later. Are they still together?
I think they are. I think this is just going to be their conversation. But breakup imminent, I hope.
If he does not understand where you're coming from and he just keeps devaluating, sorry, I couldn't speak there. If he keeps disrespecting you and your boundaries or how you feel, I would call it.
Yeah. It's the little things. It's how they treat you at a football game. Update 11 days later. My sister gave me a wake-up call. She asked me what I would say to our youngest sister if she were in my situation. Without even having to think about it, my answer was that she should leave that guy because he obviously doesn't respect you. It woke me up to how stupid I have been for staying and for not standing up for myself. If I would tell her to leave because she deserves better, why wouldn't I do the same? It opened my eyes about how I accepted my ex-fiancé disrespecting me and not listening when I'm upset. And if you're upset, you go to your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime on what platforms, Carly?
iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music.
And I'm sure it'll put a smile on your face.
I'm sure.
Some of the episodes.
Almost 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're getting to the triple digits here. Here's a little bit more. I broke up with him and have moved in with my sister. I knew they were going to. Wow. I kind of called that. You didn't see that coming.
Sorry, what? What do you go back a sentence?
I broke up with him and have moved in with my sister. They're done. They cut it off.
I saw it coming eventually, just not that quick.
Oh, okay.
And I think that the sister with the wake up call was good.
Yeah.
I thought she talked to her fiance, not her sister.
Got it.
And I think talking to the sister.
Yeah.
It was, if you love the game so much, why don't you just marry it?
Yeah, right. The one who woke me up, not my youngest sister. She gave me 2 months worth of rent, so my ex-fiance couldn't say I was abandoning the lease on our apartment. He can sign a new lease in January or move out, but at least he can't use that against me. I don't know what I would do without my sister. She's going to help me pay for a therapist so I can talk about my issues with accepting my ex-fiance treating me so badly. I'm also stepping away from dating until I figured it out. If you almost got married to someone, do not get into dating until you're
You gotta take a break.
Year and a half minimum.
Isn't it like
I do
also dependent on how long the relationship was?
I do a month for every year. Me personally, I do 2 months for every year.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then if it's like 2 months for every year until a year and a half, and then like year and a half is like, yeah. If I've been together with someone for like 15 years, I'm not gonna wait for 30 months to date someone. It'd be like,
you might need 30 months.
You might, but
Yeah,
don't be
I
jumping
get
in
your
other
point.
people's pants.
Take time.
I appreciate all the support I got on my last post, and also everyone who told me I deserve better. I had my messages turned off because I got some nasty ones sent by people who are fans of the same football team as my ex-fiance. But I do appreciate everyone who told me that I wasn't overreacting and said I deserve better. Even though I don't know any of you, it really helped.
I supported my husband's guys' night. The other wives turned on me for it.
They don't sound fun.
I've been with my husband for 6 years total, married for 2. We have no children and do not plan to. My 27 female husband, 32 male, has a group of guys that he's been friends with since elementary school. After college, they all moved back to the same area and several of them rented a house together until they started getting girlfriends and moving out. By the way, this comes from Throwaway, am I the wife? Whoa. By the way, this comes from Throwaway, am I the a-hole wifey? And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, after they moved out, they still had guys' night nearly every Friday until the vid happened. They started back up a few months ago after restrictions in our area relaxed, and the majority of the guys started getting tested regularly because of their jobs. There is one single guy, let's call him Bernard, who left in the group, and they meet at his house and hang out in the carport to drink a few beers and just shoot the crap. I've never had a problem with my husband, Willie, going to guys' nights. He gets off work at 5 and is usually home no later than 8 every Friday. He never drives home wasted, and if he ever does have a few too many, I don't mind going to pick him up. I feel like I should note that we live the farthest away from Bernard's house, about 15 minutes. All the other guys live within walking distance of Bernard. Usually I bake cookies or other snacks for him to take with him to share with the guys. I also don't mind driving the other guys home if needed. If we have plans or anything, he doesn't go. Since the guys' night has resumed, the other wives have been complaining about it. We're friendly, but none of us are really good friends like our husbands are. We've tried to have a girls' night while the guys have their guys' night, but most of them have kids and we really don't have anything in common other than our husbands. It's just awkward. One of the guys, Alvin, is married to Fiona, and they have a 1-year-old baby. Fiona has been particularly vocal about not wanting Alvin to be out every Friday as she wants help at home. The other wives backed her up and started a group chat asking that we present a united front to cancel guys' night.
This is messed up.
No!
This is messed up. That's also,
Yeah.
that should be between Fiona
Yes, and her husband.
and Alvin.
Yeah, that is so weird. I would immediately leave that group chat at noon.
That's, yeah.
Sorry, don't agree. Bye.
And I do get it. If he does need to be there
But
to help
yeah,
out,
yeah,
and maybe she gets a girls' night, or
Yeah.
doesn't have to be with you guys, but
exactly.
that's fine. That's fair. But again, that should be between them.
Yes,
If it's
yes.
again a united front where all the wives are I want to do something on my Friday nights,
Yeah.
then you should communicate that to your partner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not to everyone. And this is weird.
Here's where I may be the a-hole. I refuse to side with them. It gives me time to unwind after work, and it's become part of my routine. So when the other wives told their husbands that they didn't want guys' night to happen anymore, I told Willie that I didn't feel the same way and he should keep going. He enjoys it and he should get to see his friends regularly. So after the confrontation, the other guys started in with, "Why can't you be cool like Willie's wife? Or she lets him go, she even makes us cookies and picks him up," etc. Alvin apparently made the comment, "I wish I was still single like Bernard. He can do whenever he wants, and I miss that." All the other wives are pissed at me, saying if we had been a united front like they plan, guys' night would either be canceled or a less frequent occurrence once a month. So am I the a-hole? No! You have your own relationship with your husband, and they have their own relationship and problems with their own husband.
It sounds like y'all got your own issues. Don't drag me and my husband into this because
I'm gonna stay out of it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna hang out with my. I even Opie's I like having my
Yeah.
Friday nights.
Sue me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edit though. Some info to clear up some assumptions I'm seeing in the comments. All the wives work. I do not know if the moms get nights to themselves like the guys do. I do not know the details of their family dynamics. I do know all the wives have tried to have girls' night amongst ourselves, and it didn't work because we have nothing in common. I'm pretty sure all the wives have other friends, but I don't know when or how often they do things outside of the home. I send cookies and treats because I make them for my blog, not just to make them for the guys. I didn't respond to the original messages in the group chat. I found out that the wives confronted the guys via my husband. And edit to, wow, I logged back on this morning and I was completely overwhelmed. This got way more attention than I was expecting. I showed this to my husband over breakfast this morning and his initial response was, "So does this mean you're Reddit famous?" LOL, but we agreed to read through the comments together tonight and try come up with a solution to help ease some tension in his friend group. Thank you all for your input and apologies if I don't respond to your messages and comments. I have a busy workday, and like I said, I was overwhelmed. But there is an update. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, let's get right into
Let's
it. I
get
want to
into
hear. I
it.
want to see what they can try and resolve because
Yeah.
we've said our piece. Again, this isn't your problem. Well, maybe it is now because you were thrown under the
Yeah,
bus.
they're making it a problem.
Yeah, your husband's friends are kind of dragging you guys. They're dragging you guys with them, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Which they shouldn't, but
No. Update. A lot has happened in the last 3 weeks, but I'm going to try to condense it for the character limit. After reading all the replies together, Willie and I decided it would be best for him to confront his friends, particularly Alvin. He told them it wasn't cool to try to throw me under the bus with their wives, and that their wives, especially the ones with kids, need and deserve time to themselves too. This is really considerate of you guys to try and help out the wives who are
But I mean,
attacking you.
This is like also pretty
yeah.
we said it from like an
Yeah.
outside perspective. Like this should have been said like
Between them.
But
It's nice that you guys are trying to help. According to the guys, all the wives are getting time to themselves without the kids each week, with Alvin's wife, Fiona, getting the most time out of anyone. She works until 4, but doesn't pick up their baby until 7 every day. She has a workout class 3 times a week and a standing girls' night every Wednesday, where she doesn't come home until 10 to 11 p.m.
So she has a
Then
wine.
she's a hypocrite.
Yeah, she has a wine Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So she's a hypocrite. That's ridiculous. And not your problem.
At that point,
Yeah.
babysitter. If you really
Yeah.
want more days, babysitter or ask someone to help you out. But like again,
Not
don't
Alvin's thing.
don't cancel guys' night.
Yeah. Alvin picks up the baby on Wednesdays. Willie and I had a brief, socially distanced get-together in our yard to clear the air. I confirmed what the guys had said about the wives getting time, and the wives admitted that they do, whether it is manicures, gym time, book club, etc. That's when I found out about Fiona's social schedule. They then confirmed that all the guys were attentive and involved dads. Willie later told me he was sure his friends weren't complete crapbags, but was glad to have the reassurance. Then it erupted into a fight between Alvin and Fiona, with Alvin saying he only gets 1 hour a week to himself since he gets off at 7 and is home by 8. Fiona broke down and started screaming that it wasn't the time spent with his friends, but his comments the following days. She then turned on me, literally pointed and screamed that it was my fault, that during the lockdown for the first time in over 5 years, she didn't have to listen to Alvin talk about me all effing weekend. I was shell-shocked and didn't know what to say, but Willie jumped in and told her she could not talk to me like that and she should probably leave before she said something she couldn't take back. But you guys should probably go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left, but whoa, that blew up.
Good on your one. Shout out to
Yes.
Willie. Just be like,
Willie.
hey, don't talk to my wife like that.
Yeah.
Because one, you didn't do anything.
No.
If anything, you were trying to make.
I'm trying to help.
You're trying to make the situation so much better.
Yeah, and I think we've found out the root of the issue, which is that Fiona is jealous of you.
Yep. Or at least tired of hearing about you, which
Yes.
Alvin seems to bring up a lot.
Yeah.
But also, Alvin did say that comment. He's like, I should have never had kids. I should
Yeah.
have been never. I should have been single.
It just sounds like they have a lot of relationship problems with which have nothing to do with you guys.
Yeah, it looks like they got a lot of baggage they need to work through because why are they dragging you into it? That's between them.
That is between them, and I just don't know why.
And I would, to also add to the notion of this is during like the vid, like again, social distancing, all that stuff makes a lot more sense too. When you put-
Absolutely.
but still not a good excuse to get to this point.
But we've got a little bit left. Fiona left and Alvin stayed. Afterwards, the other wives admitted they only agreed the ultimatum after Fiona relentlessly persuaded and pushed them into it. I have never seen this side of Fiona before, so I had no idea she could be like this. Alvin has been sleeping at Bernard's house for almost 2 weeks now. He's still been picking up and spending time with the baby, but he doesn't sleep at his house. He says they're going to try therapy, and if that doesn't work, they'll probably separate. As much as I dislike the guy, I feel bad for him. Guys' night has resumed. I'll still send cookies, but Willie says he doesn't bring me up and shuts the guys down if they try to talk about me. Why are they obsessed with you? Jeez.
My mother-in-law cries to get what she wants.
Stop crying.
Hi, everyone. It's been such a stressful period for me, and I just need to get this off my chest before I explode. So please bear with me, my internet strangers. My husband and I, both in our early 30s, recently finished our master's degrees abroad. What's her name? And just started our post-grad jobs. We're both working hard to pay off student debt and mortgage we took before our studies. Life is busy but stable. By the way, this comes from user Investing Girl. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So if you do something else, let us know in the comments. And OP says, though the real problem is my mother-in-law and how she uses crying to get what she wants. The first major incident was about our second marriage certificate. When my husband and I got legally married at the courthouse in the county where we studied, it was a small but meaningful moment. We were happy, proud, and ready to move forward together. A few months ago, after our graduation, we went back to our home country for a short visit, and both families went on a vacation together. During that trip, my mother-in-law cornered my husband in her hotel room and demanded that we go sign another marriage certificate, this time in their hometown. She said it would make it truly official. He gently explained that we were already legally married and that doing this again would take weeks of paperwork we didn't have time for.
Unless you get married in Bakersfield, then your marriage isn't valid. Everyone knows this. You must be wed in your hometown.
Oh, that's a good, spooky voice.
We had actually already looked into the process before moving to the new country. She immediately started screaming and crying, saying things like, "That was just an excuse. You've betrayed me. You're a bad son. You don't care about me at all." And to be fair, I wasn't there. This was what my husband later told me, looking absolutely defeated, sitting on the hotel couch. Seeing him like that broke my heart. A few days later, she called in a favor with someone at the local government office and somehow arranged to have a marriage certificate made immediately. She asked my husband to tell me to come sign it. What? If that was a thing, why didn't we just say, "Hey, baby, I can pull some strings. I got a friend down at the government office, and I can pull some big old strings. Get you that marriage certificate tomorrow, and then you can have another one."
You can have two. It's like a double major. You can get or like being able to practice law in multiple countries. I mean, in multiple states.
I'm
multiple
wed in
countries
multiple
would be crazy. That'd be
localities.
pretty crazy. In multiple states.
I remember feeling so uncomfortable, and honestly, in my wildest dreams, I never imagined I'd be signing a marriage certificate in such a pressured way. But he looked so crushed that I agreed, mostly to stop seeing him like that. Looking back, that was the moment I realized how she could manipulate both of us through guilt. Now comes the ongoing issue. Pressure to have a baby. Fast forwarding to now, she has started a new campaign, crying about wanting grandchildren. She calls my husband often, sobbing that her life is empty, that he's abandoned her, that she's sick and jobless. She doesn't get along with my father-in-law at all, so she completely relies on my husband for all kinds of support, health, financial, and emotional.
I'm sick. I'm jobless. I hate your father. Why don't you take care of me?
Yeah, and that's when you gotta say, "Hey, Ma, I hate that.
You hate your mother.
I hate that for you, but you know what? You got a whole life you can live without me."
I don't have any life without you.
That's a problem you're gonna have to work through in therapy.
I don't know where that is.
If you feel that is the truth, then a therapist will have to help you navigate those feelings, because you are more than just a vessel for your children.
I'm a vessel for the Dark Lord.
And I have to go now. Goodbye. You always want to hang up when they start talking about the Dark Lord.
Always.
My husband also seems to resent this. Whenever he talks to his mom, I can feel his frustration and anger. With anyone else, he's kind and extremely patient. She seems to resent me, though. He even went as far as asking my relatives whether I was the one forcing him to live abroad and far away from her. Every call, she slips in another comment about carrying on the bloodline, or how I'm wasting my time learning new skills instead of focusing on having children.
Yikes.
You are a machine.
You are
Baby
a
machine.
How many kids did she have?
Who?
Mom.
I don't know.
Was it just OP's husband?
Sounds like it.
'Cause it sounds
The
like
way
you were
she's
working
acting, it
real
sounds
hard
like it.
on pumping out those babies, mother-in-law.
Once, she even told my husband that I'm going to run out of eggs soon.
We'll go to the store
Or you could meet a man, mysterious man.
and he'll give you eggs.
He will give you an egg. And then that egg will hatch and it will be a little tiny 1-inch man inside that egg.
What?
And then you can raise that little 1-inch man. And he grows very rapidly. And it's kind of scary. Before we left for our studies, she and my husband's grandmother told me to just give birth and leave the baby behind so they could raise it, because that's common in their village where parents often work far away. I was horrified. Yeah.
No.
That's great. Love that they do that in your village.
In my village, we raise our children.
Yeah. Make one for me then.
Yeah,
okay, but
I
if you don't
want
want
one.
one. Make one. I'll take care of it. Just like give me one.
Can you,
Give it.
can you make a spare? Can you make a spare? We'll hold on
Just
to it
make
for
it
you.
extra. Gosh, it's not hard.
No child of mine will grow up wondering when their parents are coming home. Where I'm at now is I've cut contact with her as much as possible. I no longer take her calls or respond to her messages. My husband handles communication, but every time she calls him, I feel the resentment growing inside me. She weaponizes tears and guilt to get her way, and I'm so tired of watching her manipulate my husband, a good, kind man, into feeling like he's never enough. We both agreed that we'll have children when we're ready, whether biological or adopted. We want to provide a stable and loving environment, but not one built on obligation and guilt. But every time she cries, it chips away at that peace we're trying to build. I know cutting her off completely would cause a huge cultural backlash, especially in their village, and I don't want to put my husband in that position. But I also can't keep living like this, walking on eggshells, bracing for the next guilt trip. How do you keep your peace when someone's constant crying is actually emotional manipulation?
They start crying and then you just walk out of the room.
I would cry back.
Yeah, you start sobbing back. You hang up the phone. You walk out of the room.
Start whispering things in Latin.
En nomine Patris Spiritus Sanctus.
Frias pulmias mihi estarayama.
I think it could work.
Quieternim.
What did you say about the horse?
I said the horse is on fire forever.
Yeah.
Frigas pulmihi es mihi means my soup is cold.
Wow, warm it up.
Because the horse is on fire forever. Comment number 1.
I am not responsible for mother-in-law's feelings.
Great. Now repeat it until you believe it.
I am not responsible. Is this like Severance? I don't believe you. Yeah.
Let her cry and wail and scream all she wants. There is nothing that will stop until she realizes that it won't get her what she wants from you. So make sure that your husband and you are on the same page. Tell her that your reproductive schedule is none of her business, and that any manipulation on her part will result in the immediate end of the visit. Then do it as often as you have to. Remember, you are not responsible for her feelings. Good luck. And there is no update.
I agree with that comment. I think it's just figuring out or like coming to that realization that she's got to continue to act the way that she acts because she's an emotionally immature adult. And then you just have to like silly baby her, as Dakota always says, because she's acting like a real baby right now.
She is a silly little baby, acting like she's silly. Yeah, the biggest thing is you can't train her that it works. You got to train her that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I see many people suggesting that my husband and I go no contact, and I completely agree in theory. It's easier for me because honestly, I couldn't care less if she's mad at me. It's just much easier said than done for him. And there are 2 big reasons why. First, cultural pressure. My husband is the only son and eldest grandson in his family. In his village, it's still deeply ingrained that children are responsible for taking care of their parents, especially the eldest grandson who is expected to take care of the entire extended family. He even mentioned a relative who gave up his job, wife, and kids in another province just to move home and care for his parents. I remember saying, I'm sorry, that's such a messed up story when he told me that. Whenever he pushes back against his mom, she flips the script. She'll cry and ask him things like, promise you won't abandon me. When he calmly asks, do you want me to come home and live poorly with you? She immediately backtracks. No, that's not what I meant. It's the constant emotional yo-yo that infuriates me. When I express frustration about her behavior, he'll often say, yes, she wants me closer, but she's not demanding it, as if that makes her behavior okay. It's exhausting. For context, my own parents are the complete opposite. They're just happy I live well and never interfere. So it's been a real adjustment trying to understand this cultural double standard, even though we're from the same country. Second, mother-in-law's safety and situation. When I said my mother-in-law and father-in-law don't get along, that was an understatement. Every time things get violent, my husband drops everything and flies home to break it up. Hey, maybe let's just leave.
Yeah, well, but
maybe we leave our village, Maybe we leave the husband who treats us bad and we leave our village where, we demand our children blow up their whole lives to take care of us. And instead, maybe we go to where they are.
Yeah, I think OP's just I would do that, but my husband cannot escape from that right now. And I think it's, encouraging him, getting him to therapy, encouraging him to, if it is affecting him this much. you find a way to at least limit that contact and to create boundaries and separation from those members of the family?
My father-in-law has made it clear he doesn't want to live with her anymore, and my husband has begged his mom to move in to her parents' old house, which is only 10 minutes away and currently empty. But she refuses, saying that if she moves out, it would look like she did something wrong and got booted out, and the other villagers will gossip about her. Who cares?
Again, also difficult, but I feel way less sympathy for her when she's treating you guys so poorly. So
They've been in this strange limbo for months now, living under the same roof, but basically separated. Yet she keeps monitoring everything he does, where he goes, what he orders online, even when he gets paid. She knows exactly where he keeps his salary and will check his pockets to see if the cash is still there. If it's not, she immediately contacts my husband to say that his dad must be spending it all on women at the local bars or wasting money while she and my husband don't even get a dime. My father-in-law, on the other hand, has become a heavy drinker, often passing out somewhere. When that happens, my mother-in-law calls the relatives to come see him like that, and then tells them to inform my husband what a terrible father and husband my father-in-law is. You can imagine how emotionally draining this is for my husband. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. We have a little bit more story left. Your parentals need to get away from each other, man. And that's, I know OP is not the
But that's
the
also like
child.
not even, yeah, but that's not even like your business at that point. I think, I don't know, hopefully your husband can realize that his parents' failing marriage is not his responsibility, and it's gonna fail regardless without him. It's going straight down the trash chute, and he's clearly not even living near them, so let it go down that trash chute.
I think that might be the only logical explanation. To make matters worse, my mother-in-law's health has been fragile for years. She insists on taking labor-intensive jobs that worsen her condition, then calls my husband to complain how she feels sick. Once she even asked him to call and talk to her doctor. When he asked why she couldn't do it herself, she said, I just want you to do it. It's all so emotionally enmeshed. She relies on him to fill every emotional void in her life, and it's suffocating. I've tried to gently suggest therapy or counseling for my husband, but he's still hesitant. For now, I'm focusing on maintaining my own peace and boundaries, but it's really hard for me watching him carry all this guilt. And that is the end of that story.
It sure is.
A tough spot to be in.
Yeah, and I hope that you can just continue to talk and have those conversations, those open conversations about your feelings, because you are being affected, but he just doesn't seem to like know how to get out of that. He feels stuck, your husband, it seems. So hopefully you can work through that together. But that's the end of that story, and we've got some comments.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Oh, gee golly.
So we've got some comments here from the video. My ex made my son choose between me and my dog.
I remember this one. Yikes.
Boy. So, this was posted on November 15th, 2025, and this is from the first story in that episode. So, little TLDR for you guys who haven't seen it. OP gave away his wife's beloved dog because his 13-year-old son suddenly developed allergies and ex-wife refused to let him take medicine. Then, at Christmas, ex-wife got her own dog and son started taking allergy meds with no problems. Turns out the whole allergy thing was fake and OP fell for it. Stepdaughters were devastated. OP tried getting revenge by fighting for custody using the same dog excuse, which massively backfired. Son moved to grandparents' house saying everyone hates him. Now son told OP that he hates him and won't talk to either parent. And if you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video. And we do have comments. You guys remember that video?
I don't. That sounds like a bad situation.
It was pretty bad.
Sounds like it. We do have some comments. Pale4146 says, that story absolutely pissed me off. I understand the kids being manipulated, but yeah, if I were the stepdaughters, I would absolutely resent that kid for the rest of my life. What a terrible situation. And another commenter, Ashley R5334, says, where I live, the courts will take into consideration the wants of a 13-year-old or older child. So going to court could backfire for OP if the son asks for lesser time. With the son choosing to go to his grandparents, I have a feeling that both parents have sucked the whole time.
Yeah.
It sounds about right if they're willing to just like fight amongst themselves and use their child as a pawn in the middle of it.
No. Yeah, and like in the story, OP kept thinking that his son was like lying and being purposely difficult and stuff, and then the son was just like, yeah,
Nice.
which was very fair.
Alejandro the Great. At 13 years old, he is old enough to decide to not go there. Crappy that it came to that, but he made his choice. And last comment, Danny Yuri 1510 says, my mom absolutely hates my dad, but growing up, she never said anything negative about him. She would just tell me the basics about him and encourage me to give him a chance. He was an absentee father whenever he popped up until I formed my own opinion of him. Then, and only then, after I realized how he was, did she ever say anything negative about him. And even then, she still encouraged me to talk to him and always said that it was my choice and completely up.
I think that's absolutely the way to do it.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
Because in this story, they were so just like negative and toxic about each other.
They sound pretty cantankerous.
Yeah.
You never want to be cantankerous when there's a child involved.
No, sir.
Absolutely not. But that's the end of that comments.
And the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.